Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the TCMMA podcast with your host, Chris Cross.
Whoa!
Dana White privilege.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby!
Dana White privilege. Privilege.
We are live for UFC 300. It's hard to believe it's finally here. I mean, it's hard to believe the show is finally here. The card is finally
Broadcasting live
here. And you can
from
say
an
the
undisclosed.
show. I mean, UFC 300 or this show, however you want to take it. But we're glad to be here, man. We've done a lot of lead up to this card. It's been unbelievable so far. Where are we at right now? No, not that. We'll get into that in a little bit. Giving them too much too early. Yeah, we got to update that. But right now, we're sitting at 5-3 on the night. 5-3 on the night so far. Yuri getting the big win in the last fight to put us to 5-3. So we started out 3-0 with Andrade, Green, and Figueiredo, then lost Turner, Yusuf, and Home, then got Sterling and Proazga. So we're looking good right now. We're looking solid. We just got to keep it going here in the main card. But listen, up next, Nickal versus Cody Brundage. It's about 10-15 minutes away. So we'll get into a couple topics, and then we'll be right back for that fight. We'll be live for every fight. Please believe it.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast.
Ramadan is officially over. Ramadan is officially over. And how does this affect the UFC? It affects the UFC big time because the UFC has a lot of Muslim fighters, Islam Makhachev, Hamza Chimaev, to name a few. And they can eat during the day now. They can eat at night. They can eat whenever they want. And training is going to start to heat up for both of these guys ahead of highly anticipated fights. Islam hasn't had any fight made official yet. That's what Dustin Poirier is talking. Hamza is going to be fighting Robert Whittaker in about 2 months. So that's plenty of time for him to put on the weight and then shed the body fat and be ripped and in great shape for that fight. So I'm glad it doesn't affect me, right? Ramadan, I'm not fasting, although it's very good for your body to do so. Let's be real. Even if you're not Muslim, it's very good for your body to fast. So for these Muslim fighters, which is why I'm intrigued by it, have cleansed their body. They're ready to rebuild it. And they're going to be ready to go in the best possible scenario, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months after Ramadan. So I look for a very healthy Hamza to come in and absolutely dominate Robert Whittaker. That's one of those fights where I will not break ever. I think Hamza beats everybody. It's as simple as that. And especially now that Ramadan is over, we're going to start seeing some training footage. We're going to see, if you could say, a return to normalcy in a sense that, listen, if you don't fast like me, you're thinking of it like, man, I can't eat all day when the sun's up. That is some dedication, man. That's not easy to do. But they do it every year. And they come out healthier on the back end. And this is why these guys are smart. Some of the Muslim fighters will fight during Ramadan, but they're smart not to. Let your body heal, cleanse, get everything out, and rebuild it, man. And that's what Hamza and Islam are doing right now. And I expect them to come out and both get victories, obviously, if you're Islam, in their next fight. Please believe it. Now let's shift gears to ranking the 13 fights at UFC 300. This is via MMA Junkie, which I thought about doing this on the podcast the last time, but I was like, this is going to be ridiculously hard. So I'm glad they did it for us. We already discussed the bottom three, right? Jessica Andrade, Marina Rodriguez, great fight, but number 13 on this fight card, hard to believe. Nickal, Cody Brundage is 12 because people expect Nickal to go in and get the KO pretty quickly. That's why it's the first fight in the pay-per-view. It's trying to get the crowd hyped up, man, for the rest of the way. Jim Miller, Bobby Green coming in at number 11. Yep. And let's start to go down. Let me jump into the top five. So you'll know which fights are eliminated. And as we get there, wow, number 5, Yuri versus Rakic. And I see that and I'm like, wow, what other 4 fights are better than that one? Because that's going to be a highly intriguing fight. This was a potential light heavyweight matchup just a year ago before both guys got injured. Jamahal Hill came onto the scene, right? Then Alex Pereira came onto the scene and got the belt at a time when virtually everybody's injured. And he fought a Yuri Prochazka that wasn't 100% in terms of, in terms of the mental game, because he's coming off the injury. So Rakic is in that situation, but that's going to be a great fight. This one is interesting. Number 4, Davison Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. Number 4 out of 13. And I don't know if I'd have it that high, but we did say the other day this is a great first fight. And I don't know if this fight's going to get the accolades that it should, because it's going to be overshadowed by the rest of the card once this fight's over. But that is a great first fight. And to stick that at number 4 is interesting. The main event is number 3, Pereira versus Hill. That's number 3. So who's number 2 and 1? Oliveira versus Tsarukyan number 2. I dig it. Yeah. And you know I love Bronx. I want to see him go off on Arman Tsarukyan. But I do think that's going to be a great fight. And the lightweight division's always got to be up there when you're looking at ranking a card like this. And number 1, I don't know about this. Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. And this is number 1 because people believe that Max Holloway cannot be KO'd. And it's going to be an absolute battle that Justin Gaethje will win. And Max Holloway might get pummeled in some cases during this fight, but he's not going to give up. And that's going to lead it to be potentially the fight of the night. And that's how you kind of rank this thing, right? If you had to look at one and say, what's going to be the fight of the night? What's going to go to a 3-round, or is this a 5-round fight? I can't remember. But nonetheless, if this goes to a decision, and you're well over 100, 150 significant strikes, it could very well be the fight of the night. So I like the ranking here. I might change number 4, even though I like Figueiredo versus Garbrandt. That's a tough one to stick up at number 4 with all the fights on deck. But that's how MMA Junkie is ranking these fights. And it's highly interesting. It's a great topic for an article because when you're looking at 13 great fights, how do you really rank them? But they did it. And it totally makes sense. I have a couple differences, but I'm not far off from their rankings. Now, Dricus du Plessis refused to let Israel Adesanya dictate UFC 300 booking, right? Saying you are summoned when I say you are summoned. They needed to fill the void as the main event, and they wanted du Plessis to come back in like 6 to 8 weeks. And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I need to be 100%. And that's where you start to see him respect Adesanya a little bit, saying, in so many words, paraphrasing, that he's obviously a great fighter, was a great champion, and this is not a guy you can play around with. So regardless of all the talk you hear from these two, there's a lot of respect here. And Adesanya would probably benefit from a quick turnaround, and du Plessis is not going to let that happen. And this matchup is inevitable since du Plessis beat Robert Whittaker, and they came face-to-face at UFC 290. You remember that tirade that Adesanya let loose with the N-word how many times? I don't know. I lost count. But he went in there and went off, and it made for an interesting situation. And Adesanya knows how to hype up a fight, right? It's like you got to give Adesanya this fight. But I agree with Dricus du Plessis. He shouldn't be pushed around, man. He should not be pushed around. And he's not going to be. And that fight is going to be interesting. Because you can never count out Israel Adesanya. You just cannot count him out, especially when he's not the champ. Right? He's getting older. He's slowing down a little bit. These other guys are coming up. The youth is on the rise. And when he's the champ, they're coming. But now he's the one coming. And it makes him that much more tough to deal with when he's not the champ because he's hungry. And that's not a good thing for Dricus du Plessis. And we'll get to that prediction later, but that's going to be one that I'm probably going to drag on for 6 minutes rather than 2 or 3 because it's going to be hard to actually make a decision there. But we'll get to that when the time comes. Dana White reveals the origins of the BMF, declares Max Holloway probably the greatest featherweight of all time. So let's be real with the BMF. And if you didn't see the short we put out earlier. We detailed this in like 50 seconds, but the bottom line is the BMF belt was created really to hype up Masvidal versus Nate Diaz, who are two guys that are no longer really at that point in time. Maybe Masvidal was in title contention, but they needed a fight to fill the void on that particular card, and they needed to come up with a belt, and that's where the BMF belt really originated. Maybe it was thought of before this fight. Maybe you save it for the perfect scenario that you need to hype up a fight, and that's what they did, and now this thing is going and going and going. Islam Makhachev has already shut it down, says, what kind of belt is this? This is not championship belt. It means nothing. And if Gaethje wins the belt and he gets it strapped around his waist, that doesn't do anything. This fight does nothing for Justin Gaethje. He really should have just sat and waited for the title fight, because now it seems like Dustin Poirier, a.k.a. the Diamond, is going to sneak past him after a big win over Benoit Saint-Denis. If Gaethje was available, they would still be able to say, well, Gaethje beat Poirier, but now Gaethje's not available, so that discussion is out, and Islam wants to fight 3 times a year. So it seems to me like DP is up next, but they're going to wait till UFC 300's over, because, you know, the Oliveira-Tsarukyan fight could have a lot to say in that. Because if Oliveira wins, then he's deserving of a rematch. So if you're Dustin Poirier, you want this fight signed before UFC 300 starts, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. In the middleweight division at UFC 300, you got your boy Bo Nickal coming in at 5-0, taking on Cody Brundage, who comes in at 10-5. Let's get right to it. Bo Nickal, 1 inch taller at 6'1". He's only 27 years old, entering his prime. Brundage, 29. So both guys right in there. Bo Nickal, 4-inch reach advantage, 76-72. He fights left-handed. Cody Brundage stands the opposite. He stands right-handed. Now, in terms of activity, that's Bo Nickal, 2.8 significant strikes per minute to 1.8 for Brundage, which means Brundage doesn't really have a chance to land the KO on Bo Nickal just because he's weak in activity, unless he gets that one big pop. Now, Bo Nickal, the reason why his opponents have a tough time with him and have a low number, so, you know, Cody Brundage, 1.8 significant strikes per minute. Bo Nickal holds his opponents below their average, well below, because he lands 11 takedowns in the course of 3 rounds so far, right? That's like 3 takedowns or more per round. Brundage can land like 1 per round too, though, so he's no stranger to the ground. Bo Nickal hasn't even had to defend takedowns yet because he's very aggressive. He's won 4 in a UFC setting, 2 in the Contender Series, then against Jamie Pickett by submission, first round. Then he KO'd Val Woodburn, first round, 38 seconds. Forget about it. Cody Brundage, 73% takedown defense. That's great, but it won't stack up here. He is coming off wins over Zach Reese by KO. And then there was the Malkoun fight where Malkoun was way ahead 28-2 and ended up being a DQ in favor of Cody Brundage. Before that, he lost to Dricus du Plessis by decision and Rodolfo Vieira by submission. So that ought to tell you the way this thing's going. Bo Nickal should get another first-round victory. Should be a dominating performance. And I know there's a lot of talk against Bo Nickal. He's getting weak opponents, this, that, and the other. They're just grooming this guy. And they're doing it the right way. He gets to finish in the first round, in my opinion, to 6-0, middleweight division, UFC 300.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
Welcome back to the TCMMA podcast. It's your boy, Chris Cross, and Bo Nickal, Cody Brundage, getting ready to go down. You know, they're doing all the pre-fight stuff right now. But both guys are making their way to the octagon shortly. And how did we get here? You're going to see some highlights later. But here's how we got here. Figueiredo, in round 1, gets the win. Or, in the first fight of the night, I meant to say. Bobby Green wins. Jessica Andrade wins. We're out to 3-0. And then, Jalen Turner goes down. Sadiq Youssef goes down. Holly Holm goes down. I'm a believer now in Kayla Harrison. I'm not going to lie. Aljamain Sterling comes back and gets the win for us. Easy victory over Calvin Kattar. Yuri Prochazka looked like he was in trouble, and he ended up getting the win. So we're back to 5-3. We're back to 5-3 right now. A respectable number on the night. Very tough card. And right now we're getting looks of Cody Brundage getting ready to enter the octagon. So we're about 4 minutes away from the fight. And many people think this is just going to be a quick fight. And I'm one of them. But you never know. You never know with these things. And the odds actually coming way down. Bo Nickal was way up there, like 30-1 or something. That's down to like 18-1, but still a heavy favorite to win this fight. Please believe it. And they're getting into all the accolades of Bo Nickal as he gets ready to make his walk. And Cody Brundage talking into the camera like he's ready to do something. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Bo Nickal's got a nice reach advantage. He's a southpaw. But just 5 fights right now. And here comes Bo Nickal. And, you know, the problem I see for Cody Brundage is the 5 losses. Like, he's losing to guys that aren't even on Bo Nickal's level, right? So this probably isn't going to go well. This could have easily been an early prelim fight, but the UFC wanted this. Kick things off in the pay-per-view event with a big finish. I mean, this is kind of, you never know what's going to happen in fighting, so you can't say it's like a setup. But this is a fight that Bo Nickal should go in and absolutely dominate as soon as the bell rings, quite frankly. And you heard it right, just 5-0, just 5 fights. The guy's 6'1", right? Obviously 185, well, weighing in at 186, but 185-pound middleweight. He's just 28 years old. Phenomenal wrestler, obviously, at Penn State. And he's made guys just look easy to beat. He's got everything, too. He's got the power. He's got the takedown ability, the ground game, everything. Everything. And I'm not going to be, you know how I feel about Khamzat Chimaev. I'm not going to be surprised if we're going to see some battles between him and Khamzat 2-3 years from now. But he's got to take care of business here first against Cody. Ooh, it's getting close, baby. First fight of the pay-per-view. Bruce Buffer's getting ready to take over. I mean, we're literally right here. It's hard to believe. I mean, this thing is going to fly by tonight. And it's hard to believe that it's here and then it's going to be over. I mean, the best fight card we've ever witnessed. When you got Figueiredo and Garbrandt fighting in the first fight of the night. And then from there, I remember when they said Holly Holm's coming out. I was like, what? I mean, it's just... Of course, she got beat bad by Kayla Harrison, but it's just like you got some big-time fighters, just fight after fight after fight. And then you got Yuri and Rakic in the prelims. Come on, man. Bruce Buffer doing his thing here. And we're just moments away from this thing kicking off, and I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And stay with us here. Get in the chat room. Let us know who you think is going to win this fight. I mean, obviously it's going to be one-sided from that standpoint, but get in there. Let us know what you think. Cody Brundage just kind of pacing back and forth again. He's 10-5, 6 feet tall. Pretty big guy as well. But again, the 5 losses, who are those against? None of them are going to be close to Bo Nickal's level because there's not many people on earth really close to his level. So if you got 5 losses, Bo Nickal should come in here and run through this thing in the first round. Here we go. Once again, let's set it up. Bo Nickal, Cody Brundage, UFC 300 middleweight division. First fight of this historic pay-per-view card. And they're both introduced. They're getting ready to come together. Chris Tagnani is the ref. And this should be an easy paycheck for him. We'll see. That's what everyone thinks. And here's the stare down. Bo Nickal's kind of like looks very humble before a fight. And Cody wants to touch gloves. Bo Nickal, like Hamza, says no thank you. Remember when Kevin Holland did that to Hamza? Put the hand in the air and never recovered. And look at Brundage with 2 flying knees to start the fight. Being aggressive. Oh, goodness gracious. Bo Nickal threw a left and missed. But if he would have caught... Oh, here we go with the early takedown attempt. And look at Brundage trying to take the back. Bo Nickal spinning. They're back to their feet. And now Bo Nickal drives Cody back into the fence. And this is not good for Cody. And Bo's got some serious power. Like he missed on the left, but if he would have, Brundage went down to a knee to miss it. And if he would have caught that, it'd be over already. I mean, he's got some serious power. And Cody's just in a tough position here. Bo Nickal really trying to work the takedown. Cody doing a good job so far. Not letting him. But how long is that going to last? Now Bo Nickal dragging him out from the fence. Takes him down. Cody gets right back up into the fence. Okay. And it looks like to me Cody's got some wrestling skills, but you would think Bo Nickal will slowly break those down. Cody back to his feet again. Bo Nickal taking him down again. Now Bo Nickal's got the back. We're going to see if he's going to try to work to get the leg over the knees and really try to get good position here. But he's definitely going to be going for the finish here. And here it is. Ooh. And he locks it in, but it looks like Cody's going to slide out of it. And Bo Nickal's just going to try to re-engage. And if Cody gets out of the first round, that's a huge win for him. I mean, that's got to be his goal right now, right? If you can get out of the first round, that's a big win for you. But right now, Bo constantly going for the submission. He can't get it. Cody's doing a good job keeping the right position to prevent it. Now he's got the knees up on the stomach of Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal on top. And now he goes to the full mount. So here we go. And he's really high up there on the full mount. Look at this. Now Bo's going to get up and try to get back on top. He does. And who knows? You could just see this for 3 rounds. If Cody can keep stopping these submission attempts, he's just going to ride Cody. And Bo's constantly working, so it's not like the ref can say, hey, you got to work. He's constantly moving, repositioning, looking for any opportunity. Goes for it again. And if Bo doesn't get the finish in the first round, how does he come out in the second? Is he going to come out and just start going for it on the feet, or will he go right back down and just do this? But Cody definitely doing a decent job playing defense here. 45 seconds left, round 1. And not a lot of striking right now. Cody's just landed 2. Bo Nickal 5. Bo Nickal's got 425 of control on 2 takedowns, so he's going to get the round because he controlled Cody Brundage. Brundage just can't do anything. But still a victory for Cody Brundage to get to the first round, because now as a coach, you can bring him into the corner and say, hey, everybody said you wouldn't be this far. Now let's go get it. And you're starting to hear boos from the crowd because Bo Nickal can't really do anything with it. And this is going to be the end of the round, and that's it. Literally 5-2 in significant strikes. Cody Brundage actually led in total strikes 17-14. So we didn't expect this. Did you expect for this to be at the end of the first round? I didn't. But with that being said, Bo Nickal is leading easily right now. He definitely won round one. And we're kind of getting a look at the corner of Cody Brundage. Kind of saying, you know what the game plan was, right? You're at the end of the first round. And just to add to that, from my perspective, hey, gain a little confidence from getting to the second round with Bo Nickal, and now start to believe in yourself. But the bottom line is Bo Nickal, wrestling-wise, can ride you the whole fight if he has to. And that's what makes him a problem, at least right now. But we're seeing a little pushback from Cody, just getting into round two. Now we got a time. And something came into the octagon. The ref threw it out, and here we go. First 10 seconds gone with no action. Bo Nickal comes out with a leg kick. Cody lands it right. Oh, big leg kick by Brundage. Bo Nickal goes for the takedown, and Cody just throws him. And now Cody looks like he's talking a little smack. But Bo's going to go right back in for the takedown. And see, it's his big boy style. It's his big boy style. And the fans continue to boo. Fans won't be happy if Bo does this for 3 rounds and doesn't get a finish. I mean, it's a win is a win, but he'll lose some of that aura that he has. But the bottom line is this guy is sensational on the ground, controlling his opponent, making his opponent look like Cody Brundage looks like there's nothing he can do. Like, Bo Nickal's just going to ride him on top. He's in side control now. He's landing some more strikes. He's up 13-4, so he's starting to get off a little bit there, a little more action. But Cody just can't do anything. He's just stuck. And yeah, we want to see big finishes, but we also want to see a glimpse of the future. And now, Bo going for a triangle. He can't lock it in, though. But he's in the full mount, so bad position for Cody. And Bo's not really using a lot of energy here either. It's more Cody's got to continue to fight off submissions. You got a guy on top of you kind of just laying. And Bo Nickal's being very smart. And at this point, hey, you're in the second round. And you just got to be patient. That's all you can do here. But dominating he is. Head strikes now 14-2 for Bo. So not as much action as a lot of the fans want to see, especially in attendance. You can hear the boos. But he's totally taken Cody away from any chance of doing anything. And now Cody gives up the back again, but he's good at fighting the hands. Got to give him that. Bo Nickal's got the legs wrapped around. And man, Oh, Bo messed up for 1 second and dropped his hands. This isn't good. Cody's in trouble. Cody is in trouble. Oh, he fights the hands again. Unbelievable. This guy continues to fight the hands. But Bo's not giving up. He continually just switches position. Oh, he's got it locked in again. Oh, this is it. This has got to be it. He taps. That's it. Real quick. Bo Nickal, dominant performance. Not a first round victory, but still a submission. And he gives the fans a boo signal with his hands down, but you got to, with his thumbs down, but you got to just give him credit too, man. Like, the guy's 6-0 now. He's going to get tested. Same thing with Hamza. Like, he's going to run into guys that are going to make him better and more calculated. But the bottom line is he's got nothing to be ashamed of. He went in there and dominated this fight totally. I mean, Cody had 2 head strikes, 4 significant strikes, dominated the fight, got the submission. He should be very happy with that performance. Make no mistake about it. 6-0, middleweight division, UFC 300. All right, so that's the end of that fight. So one fight down. And up next, oh my gosh, Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. We're now 6-3 on the night. We are now 6-3 on the night, and we're headed to another break. And to be quite honest with you, I can't remember what I had on this particular one. I know what I got later, because we got to look at some of the early prelim reactions, the prelim reactions. Got to get into all that. But listen, right now we got a lightweight division fight on our hands, and I want to tell you who I like. If you watch the show, you already know, but I don't want to spoil the break, right? Because you're going to get the full detailed prediction. Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan. Stay tuned.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast.
One of the more interesting stories of the day, if it's even really a story, because I don't think it's going to happen, but Ian Machado Gary saying he signed to fight Colby Covington. He signed. He's on the dotted line. He's ready. But these aren't the type of fights that Colby Covington takes. He takes the safe fights. If any fight is really safe. Colby Covington is looking for the safe route, and you can't blame him, because he's looking for the fights. It's going to catapult him back into a title fight. But this time, it's not going to be like others. He's had 3 chances now. And yeah, he fought hurt against Leon Edwards. We found out later, which is why he didn't look normal in that fight. I was highly upset with his performance. But when you find out he was injured, okay, that might be enough to get him a fight for the title again. But he's going to have to go on a run here. He's going to have to take some chances. And he's going to have to prove that he's a top contender in the division by fighting some of these elite fighters in one of the toughest divisions in the UFC. But will Colby take this fight? I don't know. I think he's going to pawn Gary off to someone else, because Gary is running through people right now. And I don't know if this is a guy you want to fight, because he may be an eventual champion. Do you want to get in his way? Not until he has a title. That would change everything. And this is what Colby Covington has done throughout the years, and nothing is going to change now. He's not going to bend to the pressure. He knows the type of fight he wants, and he'll find 2 or 3 fights he can win to get back into a title fight situation and earn a shot. But one thing I know that I'm good on is Conor McGregor's offer from Charles Oliveira. Right? Instead of fighting Michael Chandler, come fight me instead of Michael Chandler. And if I'm McGregor, I'm staying away from that at all costs. I'm not messing with Charles Oliveira. Please, McGregor, if you hear me, don't fight Du Bronx. That will not go well. You can fight him later, but you need some type. I don't even know about Michael Chandler. I think McGregor needs more of a tune-up fight and then start climbing his way up the ladder, because I do believe McGregor either wants to finish up his contract or wants to get back in title contention and get into a title fight. I mean, he's got all the money in the world now, right? He's doing movies. He's got other deals. He's good. He don't need to fight anymore. So what's the point? Is he really fighting for money like people say? I don't think so. I think he still wants to be legitimate. He wants to be a champion. So that's why he's coming back to fight. Now, I could be wrong, but that's how I feel. Octopo, we haven't seen him in a while. He says, hey, Chris, UFC 300 is a very good card. First time I've been excited for a while. And that's a great statement, you know, because we do these every week. And everybody's always saying, how are the fights this week? You know, who's fighting? I'm like, they're all right. You know, they're all right. Pay-per-view's always good, but 300 is a big one. It's like, this is why the fights haven't been great leading up. Not terrible, but just not any really big fights except for the main event in the pay-per-views. Now everybody's fighting on one card. So then for the 301, it's not going to be that great, right? Probably. But we'll take it. We will absolutely take it for what it is right now. Ryan says, for your information, apart from fasting during the month of Ramadan, Makhachev also performed Sunnah fasting 3 days every month throughout the year. That's crazy, right? That's insane. And talking to some friends this week about Ramadan, I didn't realize you can't even drink during the day. You can't even, I mean, that's the kicker, as a friend said. That's the kicker, because, you know, you can do without the food, but you get thirsty, especially towards the end of the day. So, much love out there to everyone that did that for the past month, or however long it lasted. I don't want to pretend like I know everything about it, because I obviously don't. The Master says, I have a feeling Armand has been cooking something special for Oliveira. Oh, you think so? I think Oliveira wins. He's going to come in with a great game plan and win convincingly. Oh, wow. We'll see. Lightweight division, you just never know. There were those fights that Oliveira won that he could have easily lost. It seems like these fights are always very close and can go one way or the other. I respect it. Here we go. Colby Chavez. I love when he did this in the past. Says Hill by KO 4. Zhang, decision. Holloway, decision. Wow. Tsarukyan KO 1 over Oliveira. Bo Nickal sub 1. I think KO. But yeah, when you're dealing with Cody Brundage who has some power, yeah, probably it could be a sub. You're right. Prohaska KO 1. Calvin Kattar decision. Holm decision. Yusuf decision. Turner KO 1. I like that. Rodriguez KO 2. Marina over Andrade. Bobby Green decision over Jim Miller, and Garbrandt decision over Figueiredo. I love it. And we'll revisit this on the reaction show Sunday. After this all plays out, we'll revisit this. See how our picks went, see how Colby's picks went, and we'll go from there. Last time we put these up, he beat me pretty good. So we'll see what happens now. It's comeback time. At Icon says, dominate? Probably not. Speaking of Yuri over Alexander Rakic. Will be a competitive fight, 50-50 on this one, but I will go with Yuri via decision. I respect it. Another one weighs in on Hamza. Not sure with my comment, or not sure why my comment went away. But as a Muslim, I love your insight on fasting. Others think of it as extreme without seeing the health benefits. Also, can't wait for Hamza fight. Yeah, and again, I don't want to pretend I know a lot about this stuff. I don't. I understand the fasting part. I understand how long it goes for. I didn't realize you can't drink fluids like water or a Gatorade or a Coke or anything like that. You just got to, when the sun's up, when it's light, you can't eat or drink anything. So who am I to say anything against that? I mean, that's willpower right there. I mean, that is absolute willpower. For sure. For sure. Respect it. Hamza went through it. Islam went through it. I know the Muslim community around here had like 800 people at like a barbecue or cookout or something the day when fasting ended. So that's got to be fun too, man. It's highly interesting, to say the least. What do we want to go with first? I say we go with the more interesting one, really, is Oliveira versus Tsarukyan, because both of these guys are legitimate lightweights, and I'd say UFC fans are split 50-50. So let's get into that one right now. In the lightweight division at UFC 300, you got Charles do Bronx Oliveira coming in at 34-9, taking on the up-and-comer Armand Tsarukyan, who comes in at 21-3. Now, Oliveira, the former champ, is 3 inches taller at 5'10". He's 34. Tsarukyan, just 27. Oliveira, 1-inch reach advantage, 74-73. They both fight right-handed, and they're both just over 3.5 significant strikes per minute. Now, the differences. Oliveira gets like 2 takedowns over 3 rounds. Tsarukyan averaging more than 1 takedown per round. So Oliveira's takedown defense is important, and it's just 55%. That's not a good look. But he's okay once he gets to the ground. against everyone against Islam. So we'll see here against Tsarukyan. Now, he dominated Beneil Dariush with a first-round KO following the loss to Makhachev, which he lost to by submission to lose, to lose the belt. Before that, he beat Justin Gaethje. We know how good he is by submission. Dustin Poirier submission. So he's a lot like Max Holloway in the featherweight division. He beats everybody but the champ. Now Tsarukyan, who, only loss came against Mateusz Gamrot by decision. But since then, he's beaten Beneil Dariush KO first round. That's why this matchup is here. Same finish. Joaquim Silva by KO and Damir Ismagulov by unanimous decision. So this is the ultimate matchup. It's a very interesting matchup. It's going to be a very competitive fight, one that can go either way. Oliveira will be tested on the ground, weak takedown defense, and Tsarukyan's going to shoot for takedowns. But will he be able to dominate Oliveira on the ground? That's a big question mark. I can't wait to see that. But listen, we got Charles do Bronx Oliveira as number 6. That's right, number 6 on the do list. So you already know who I'm going with. I can't go against Du Bronx. I want to see him fight Islam again, and that fight's going to happen in the future, hopefully. But Oliveira wins in dominating fashion, likely on the feet with a big KO early in this fight. That's what I think is going to happen. Oliveira dominates to move to 35-9, lightweight division, UFC 300. Yeah, and I've had an interesting conversation with a few people on this fight, and both the two people I spoke to go on opposite ends. One for Oliveira, one for Tsarukyan. I'm for Oliveira. The gentleman that believes that Tsarukyan will win believes that he'll just dominate the ground. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Du Bronx is good on the ground too. And he takes a pounding and finds ways to win. But Tsarukyan is on the march, and everybody wants to see Tsarukyan versus Makhachev. So that's what makes this fight highly interesting. And quite frankly, it can go either way. Now, let me peek at the odds real quick before we move on. I would say it has to be really close. Wow, this is fight 4. Tsarukyan more than a 2-1 favorite. Interesting. Very interesting.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
Welcome back. This is your boy Chris Cross. This is the TCMMA podcast, and we are live, obviously.
UFC 300.
Yes, I love it.
300.
Yes. So we got Oliveira and Tsarukyan. Tsarukyan making his way to the octagon now. Oliveira's up next. And just a heads up, man. The old lady will be coming through in a minute. And I want y'all to know ahead of time. I might have to say hello when she walks in. Because I said no to a date tonight in order to be here with y'all watching UFC 300. She said, hey, we're going to this comedy show. I said, what's the date? April 13th. Scrolled on the phone real quick. I said, I can't do it. It's UFC 300, man.
300.
What am I going to do?
Well, Christopher, then you know what? Then maybe that you've got a problem because
Oh, man. Yeah. But you know what? We had to do it. We had to do it. We can't miss UFC 300. We can't miss UFC 300.
Whoa!
Yeah. So listen, Oliveira. Yeah, let's get that pulled up. Oliveira, one of my favorites, right? One of my favorites. So we got Bo Nickal there. We're 6-3, right? But if you go to the dude list, pull up the dude list. There it is. Keep it there. Yes. Where's Oliveira? Number 7. Still, not the champ, but higher than some champions. But Ed Hill coming up later, 4 versus 8. That's crazy. So that's where we're at on the do list. Those are our best guys. That's my team. Not a pound for pound. That's just my team in order from 1 to 10. And you go on to 22. Oh, we don't got the 11 through 20 up. It's all good. But listen, what matters is we got Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. That's what matters. And it's going down. All right, good. Killed a little bit of time. Getting here, Charles Oliveira now taking a sip. He's getting checked in. And we're going to be on our way to a huge lightweight fight. 1 versus 4. And if Arman Tsarukyan wins his fight, I don't think he can be denied for a title shot. And that's kind of why I think they're waiting on the Dustin Poirier situation. It was looking like him and Islam were going to fight. But UFC wants to see what happens here. If Charles Oliveira wins, then it's 50-50 either way for Poirier and Oliveira. But if Tsarukyan wins, Islam's going to have to fight him. Bottom line. If he fights anyone else, it's going to look like he's running. He just won't have a choice. Unless this is such a battle that neither guy can go next. Then, so there's a lot of play in this fight. This is one of those where these guys can't go for 4 to 6 months, then Poirier gets the fight. So if you're Poirier, you're probably watching this thinking, let me see a 3-round absolute battle. And let these guys wear each other out and make sure I'm right in line to fight. I guarantee that's what Poirier is thinking. Because if one guy comes in here and gets a first-round finish in dominating fashion, Poirier is not fighting for the belt. All right, so both guys in. Bruce Buffer getting ready to get on the horn. Charles Oliveira. Okay, key thing here. Oliveira 34. The time is now. Arman is 27. So he's going to be around for a while. And in this division, there's always guys coming up. Always. I love it. I love the lightweight division. Poirier and Gaethje always finding ways to win. We're going to find out what Gaethje can do next. Back-to-back lightweight fights. Come on. So much going on with this card, I almost forgot that. And Arman Tsarukyan getting checked in. He's 3 inches shorter, 5'7". He's giving up just 1 inch in reach, though. They're both going to stand right-handed. Arman's a little bit more active in the strike game, but it's close. More active in the takedown game, but it's relatively close. So it's just the X factor for Oliveira, right? The stats don't always look great, and at times he looks like he's in trouble. But if you take away Islam, who is the best fighter in the world, Oliveira is on an 11-fight win streak. So let's not forget. But we're going to find out what happens right now. So here we go. Once again, UFC 300, Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan. Let's go. Let's go. And Oliveira's checked in. And you see a couple people with all Brazil on top to bottom. Brazil's always coming out when their fighters are fighting. Make no mistake about it. And come on, let's go. I want to get this thing popping, man. Get everybody out of the octagon. Let's go, Charles. Let's keep our win streak alive now. 1-3, lost 3, won another 3. So we're 6-3 right now. Big leg kick missed by Arman. You're going to see a lot of that from both fighters early on. And this is a 3-round fight, so it's going to be, there's not a lot of time to play games. Oh, leg kick takes down Arman. And now Charles decides to go to the ground with him. Interesting. And I tell you, in the lightweight division, man, there's battles on the ground. I mean, it's like both guys are really trying to get position. Arman's trying to reach to get the leg of Oliveira, who's sweeping a leg around to get behind. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh. Brundage has it in tight. Look at this. Arman's in trouble. Oh, my gosh. Not even 2 arms, just 1. And Arman's in trouble. Arman's in trouble. Oh, my goodness. Oh, he pops out. He pops out. You got to be kidding me, bro. Oh. He popped out. Oh, my goodness. He was in. Oh, it was over. Brundage now finds himself in a full mount. Dominating here right now. But Arman got through that. Unbelievable. Not many guys would do it. Now we'll see what happens. And you saw Jalen Turner look great in round 1 against Renato Moicano, especially at the end. Didn't go for the finish, didn't get it. And then round 2, the whole fight changed. Are we going to see something like that here? I don't know. It's a different situation. It's a little bit different situation, but if you're Du Bronx, you want to get it right now. I mean, he's in a full mount. And now Arman's going to give up the back potentially. He's trying to roll out of it. And Oliveira just maintaining the full mount. Just impressive, man. And that was close to a butt there by Oliveira. He's worn. Now Arman switches position. Dang. Holy cow. And we're only halfway through the round. Are you kidding me? A lot of time here for Arman to work. Gosh, and it's hard to believe Oliveira nearly had the finish. Nearly had the finish. I mean, you're talking 2 to 3 seconds away. And Arman popped out. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, and Arman's now on top, trying to go to work. Oliveira doing a good job of wrapping up the hands. But the momentum has completely changed here once Arman found his way on top, obviously. And now you go back to when Du Bronx took his legs out and then went down with him. Was that the right idea? And then how did the judges score this round? Because it could come down to that, because it's basically going to be, oh, we have a time. We have a leg kick from the ground by Arman. And now a little bit of confusion here because, yeah, Oliveira landed a leg kick with on a grounded opponent. And hopefully Arman has the right to make the decision here. I mean, he looks fine. He wants to fight. I don't think anybody wants to fight to end this way. Now the doctor's in the octagon. And the fans are booing here. They want to see this thing continue. It's only round 1. And the doctor putting him through some light tests here. And the doctor kind of pushes him side to side from the shoulders. He says, "Are you good?" He says, "Yes." And Oliveira warned now not to do that again. But anyway, we're back to action. Thank goodness. That had been a terrible way for this fight to end. Arman's still on top. You might just run this thing down. 40 seconds left. And now the control time is shifted towards Tsarukyan, 154 to 138. I don't know if that's what's important. But what is you factor that with 14 to 7 now in significant strikes. And Arman likely won this round. A round that looked like Oliveira could potentially get a finish here inside of a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Now Oliveira's looking to get up. Okay, Oliveira stands up. Drives Tsarukyan back into defense. Interesting. Good fighting by both guys. And I think if you're Oliveira, this is where you want to stay. Let's stay on the feet. And it's going to finish that way. Spinning back kick by Tsarukyan. And we got a battle on our hands as we expected. As was expected. Now they both go to their corner. And tough advice here. I don't think either guy gets off of whatever their game plan was. I don't think anything happened there that you go back into the corner and we throw everything out and the same game plan. I mean, it was really a good round by both guys, but I think Tsarukyan probably edged that out more than likely because you got to give one guy 10-9. So I'll say Tsarukyan got round 1. But early in the round, there's the replay. Okay, so you get the leg kick, and then he goes in on top of Tsarukyan, which at the time looked great because he had it locked in really well with the guillotine, and then eventually Tsarukyan popped out. Now all of a sudden we're headed into round 2. And here we go. Once again, Oliveira 34-9, Tsarukyan 21-3. And Oliveira trying to shake hands. They do. They hug it out because of that kick earlier. And we're good to go. Oh, big right by Oliveira. Come on, Olives. Let's go do Bronx. This round is crucial. This round is crucial. Oh! Tsarukyan got his leg about 10 feet in the air and brought it down. Kicked it way up there and then brought it down and nearly landed on Oliveira, but he missed. 1 minute gone, second round. And a high-level lightweight fight going on right now. Unbelievable. Oh, Tsarukyan goes in for the takedown. And look who's going to get position here as they're battling. Tsarukyan now getting lower than Oliveira, driving him back into the fence. And I tell you, in all of MMA, like, if I was ever a fighter, this would be the last division I want to be in. Because you got to have every skill. Like, you can't just have KO power. I mean, you got to be able to defend takedowns. You got to be prepared to go to the ground. I mean, everything is at play. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Armand lands another takedown. Well, that's going to be one takedown because the last one he was taken down. He just flipped position after about 90 seconds. He's headed over 4 minutes of control time. One takedown, 2 attempts, 23-10 in significant strikes. And all Oliveira can do right now is play defense. I mean, this is not where you want to be with Tsarukyan, but Tsarukyan's just done a good job now, starting to take over on the ground, which is what a lot of people said would happen. And that's going to limit Oliveira's ability to finish his fight on the feet. And that's all he can do. He's just stuck on his back. Tsarukyan on top. 2 minutes left, round 2. Hey, beautiful. Welcome home. You have fun?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Real bad.
Is he?
Yeah, like real bad. And she just asked the big question.
Oh, really? Yeah. See? I knew that would come. See,
I cannot be by myself.
I could read the future.
She was like, I just can't.
Yeah.
I was like, well, me and Chris has discussed it.
Yeah.
I said, that's not even something you ever have to worry about.
Mm-hmm. I am live, though, just so you know, so you don't say nothing crazy. As soon as this fight's in the end of the second round, and then I'll be free for like 10, 15 minutes. Back to the action. You didn't miss anything, though. Tsarukyan basically on top, and Oliveira's on the ground. 1:10 to go. But now Tsarukyan's starting to take advantage of the top position. He leads 27-11 in significant strikes. So 31-11 now, excuse me. So he's just pulling away, and he's likely going to be up. Well, not likely. He should be up 2 rounds to none. Boy, it's really taking effect now. Tsarukyan really taking over, and we haven't seen Charles Oliveira beaten like this on the ground. Like Tsarukyan is just starting to dominate here on top. And look at this, man. And I'll tell you what, if it does go 3, it's going to be tough for Oliveira. Unbelievable. Tsarukyan just dominating on the ground. And Oliveira is just trying to hold on here so he can get back to his feet in round 3. 15 seconds left. And I'm learning something in this fight. This Tsarukyan is a problem. Oh, and a potential armbar here. Oh! That could have been bad. Round 2 comes to an end. So we go into a third and decisive round. 33-11, significant strikes. 25-8 in head strikes. And Tsarukyan just starting to dominate. Oh, gosh, Oliveira landed a big right in that round too, but just the overall, gosh, look how high Tsarukyan got his leg earlier. Straight split, straight up in the air and then back down. That's incredible flexibility. Unreal. You know there'll be a picture of that. That's crazy. Okay, here we go, round 3. I mean, Oliveira's got to get a finish, I believe. Or we're going to fall to 6-4 with 3 very close and crucial fights coming up next. And we know Oliveira can take the fight to the ground. He's done it against multiple opponents. Has great submission ability, obviously. So for Armand to come in here and just dominate him on the ground is another fighter like Islam Makhachev. I mean, and that's the reason that's a highly intriguing fight. I don't care what anybody says. And Oliveira landing some shots now with a left and a right. And you're seeing some people here online saying 19-19. I don't know. I think Armand got round 1. I think he's up 20-18. I think he's up 2-0. And Tsarukyan pins Oliveira back up against the fence. And here we go again. And this is exactly what Tsarukyan's been doing the whole fight. It's just controlling the heck out of Oliveira, who gets out now. Okay, he's free. Here we go. He's got to stay free, too, if he wants to win this fight. That's just the way it looks. And Tsarukyan open it up now. Oliveira backs him off with the right. Tsarukyan coming in for the takedown. Oliveira stuffs it. And he's got to get to work now. 3:30 left in the fight. I think he's losing. I think he needs a finish. And both guys well conditioned. I mean, these guys aren't getting tired. They're obviously in a fight. They're going to slow down a bit, but they're not going to get tired. 3 minutes left. And the crowd's starting to pick up now. And there roars back and forth for each fighter. It's getting more and more crucial as that clock ticks down. 2:50 left. And Oliveira's starting to pick up the pace a little bit. He's got to. But he can't open himself up to give up a takedown, because then this fight's in jeopardy. So all these things are going on. And here comes a takedown. Ooh, Tsarukyan gets in this time on the double leg and takes down Oliveira. Not good. Not good. Dang. And what case can you make for for Oliveira right now? He's down 50-18 in significant strikes. He's given up 753 of control time. It's more than half the fight. He's got 144 at the very beginning. He's given up 2 takedowns. Head strikes, 37-12 for Tsarukyan. I mean, this is an easy... I think 2 judges at least are going to have it 30-27. All Oliveira's had is that near finish in the first round when he had Tsarukyan in a lot of trouble. Wow. Tsarukyan swipes a right leg around. He's looking to get the legs wrapped around, but he has taken the back now. Under 90 seconds left in the fight. And I don't think there's going to be a submission here. I mean, both these guys are very good on the ground. It's just the problem is Oliveira cannot get Tsarukyan off of him. And he's just getting controlled. And it's going to be an easy victory for Tsarukyan. Unless Oliveira gets back to his feet and goes off. In which I still say it loses 2 rounds to 1. So, okay. Now Oliveira does get the top. He's got to go to work here. He's got to go to work. Oh, he's got the triangle. Come on. Crowd's going crazy. Boy, and Tsarukyan just got his... Oh, he's got it locked in. How much time is left? 20 seconds? Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Is it... Oh, my gosh. Gosh, this is in. Come on. Look at him sticking his tongue out. But he's not going to get the finish. Now he looks a little more worried. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. Tsarukyan's still moving. And that's time. And Tsarukyan stands up and put his hands up. So does Oliveira. And, man. 2 submission attempts there. Early in the first round, late in the third for Oliveira. That would have finished any other person on the planet. And both guys believe they won. And I'm not even... Oh, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. Dubrov's trying to talk to Tsarukyan, but he's too pumped up. He's over the octagon. And he's probably arguing for fight of the night, but it's not going to be fight of the night. This is just going to be another good fight on this great card. Right? It's not going to be fight of the night. There's no performance of the night here. But you could say solid performance for Arman all the way until, other than 2 minutes in this fight. The other 13 he dominated. So we'll see how the judges score this thing. Ooh. Getting a look at some of the replays here. Some great takedown attempts and finishes by Tsarukyan. And you see this. You see Oliveira sticking his tongue out here with 10 seconds left because he's got the triangle locked in, but Arman does not tap. Don't know how much trouble he was in there. But we're going to get a crucial decision here. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not be surprised by anything. But if it was a split decision. But I just look at the stats and it looks like Arman dominated this fight. Three fights to go. Coming up. Am I like the dork who missed the date with his girlfriend to watch? But it is a manly sport, you have to say. At least it's a manly sport. At least I'm not like watching like, I don't know. I know I was watching golf the other day, wasn't I? Oh, here we go. Both guys come together. Won't be surprised by anything here. Ooh. It's going to be split. 29-28 Oliveira. 29-28 Tsarukyan. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Arman Tsarukyan gets the win by split decision. Dang. Back to 6-4 on the night. But it wasn't convincing. This division is ridiculous. It's really hard to predict. But it wasn't convincing. It was a close fight. Charles Oliveira falls at 34-9. Tsarukyan's going to move to 22-3. And I think he's going to have to get the Islam fight. He's going to have to fight for the title. That's the bottom line. But Arman Tsarukyan gets the win. Lightweight division, UFC 300. All right, so 3 fights to go as we march forward here. And another big lightweight fight next. An interesting lightweight fight. Because Max Holloway's moving up. And he's done this before, and it didn't go well. But can he change history tonight? Right? Can he change the flaws from the past? He looks big. And we'll have to wait and see. We're going to get into the detailed fight prediction here on the break, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. So let's jump into it. UFC 300 last-minute ticket prices will surprise you, including $1,838 for floor seats. Gosh. $1,800 for floor seats. That's crazy. Conor McGregor praises Dana White for upping fight bonuses to $300K for UFC 300. And he should, because the UFC is also on record as saying they're probably going to reach the plateau of 1 million pay-per-view buys, something like 18 million at the gate. We'll get into that as well. Marina Rodriguez says she's going to call out a Chinese fighter one way or the other after UFC 300. And that's saying she's going to get the fight over Andrade, and then she's ready to fight for the title. That's what she's saying there. So, yeah, the historic UFC 300, here we go. 1 million pay-per-view buy plateau. May reach that, and 16.5 million, I stand corrected, at the gate, which both of those I believe are the most since 2020 when all that stuff happened. Bo Nickal didn't expect the fight on the main card. He said, I didn't expect it, he told reporters at the press conference. And of course today, UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi announced for October 26th. And let's jump into that first, because you think about Khamzat Chimaev, and he's fighting Robert Whittaker in June. So you think about it, so July, August, September, October, so 4 months later, almost 5 really. UFC 308 will be in Abu Dhabi, and I'm thinking, can Khamzat fight on the main card in this one? Problem is, du Plessis and Adesanya haven't been announced yet, so it's likely they won't turn around too quickly if they're going to fight after Khamzat, which is likely. So they're not going to turn around in 3 months. So that's going to be tough for him to fight for the title. But I think the UFC is going to cook up something big for UFC 308. And I hope it features Khamzat Chimaev. The last 2 in Abu Dhabi was featured by Islam. So it's right along the same alley, if you will. Go ahead and stick Khamzat in the main event, but who's he going to fight? Would he move up to light heavyweight to challenge there? I think if you beat Robert Whittaker, it opens a door to a lot of things. But it would be pertinent for him to fight for the middleweight title first. So that kind of leaves 308 in limbo for him in October. So let's just say du Plessis and Adesanya fight in July or August. They're not going to turn around in 2 or 3 months. So that's unlikely, but I have a feeling something big is coming for Abu Dhabi. You think about it, right? That's October. We're at 300 right now in April. So that's, 6 months off? Well over 6 months, 6.5 months before that comes back around. So the UFC will cook up something big, and I guarantee you won't hear anything until Khamzat fights on June 2nd. I believe the date is at UFC Saudi Arabia against Robert Whittaker. Then they got to push within a month to get a fight booked for 308. So there's plenty of time to announce a headliner there, but something tells me the UFC is going to cook up something big and stick Khamzat right on that card. Hopefully it's the main event. It's the main event, but that would have to be for a title. So how's that going to happen? We'll have to see how things play out. So getting back to UFC 300, ticket prices, $1,800 for floor seats, especially last minute right now. That's incredible. And then you say 1,800 for floor seats. Okay, what row am I in? Am I like 10 rows back, standing behind 9 other people? That's a lot of money. But guess what? People are going to pay it, man. $400 for like the cheap seats. This thing is that big. I mean, this thing is Super Bowl style in terms of the prices, or at least very close. That's how big this thing is tomorrow night. It's like the Super Bowl for the UFC. This is why there's so many great fights on this card. From the first, usually the first fight of the night, you can ease yourself into this thing. People start showing up later, but I have a feeling in Vegas, there's going to be people there very early for this fight. It's not going to be like 100% capacity, but I say it's probably 60% by the end of the early prelims. And as you get into fight, the second and third fight in the prelims, it's going to be pretty much 100%. People are going to be coming an hour or two earlier than they normally would. Even the people in the front rows. Because even then, you're getting there early. You're a celebrity, and this thing is on ESPN globally. Pay-per-view, you crunch that number down to a million. A lot of people are still watching. 10, 20 million people. But, if you can get on ESPN to even a bigger audience, I say you get there a couple hours early. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, McGregor is praising Dana White, as he should, for upping fight bonuses to $300K. For UFC 300. That means if you get like fight of the night, performance of the night, things like that. Now the win bonus, if I'm not mistaken, just doubles their show money. So I don't think the win bonus is affected there. Although I could be, might have to stand corrected later. But yeah, regardless, 300K. Now how many are they going to give out? They should give out a good amount, and other fighters may be upset in other fights, like 50 or 100K bonus, but listen, there's so many good fights in this card, it's going to be even harder to get the 300K. It's going to be hard because there's a lot of good fighters up and down this card. McGregor saying huge shout out to Dana White in the UFC, upping the bonuses to 300K, life-changing money for many on the card. Yeah. And what they say, 12 former champions? I thought about going through those fights and trying to name all 12. I'm sure I could do it. But man, 12? Probably run through 8 to 10 easily, and then the last 2 would be tough. And then, of course, CEO, UFC CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Dana White, says a historic event is projected to eclipse 1 million pay-per-view buy plateau, 16.5 mil at the gate, again in T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. So this will be... It will put the UFC, it will put it third in history and be the highest live gate for any card without Conor McGregor. And that goes back to the point that was made a long time ago, is you don't need McGregor on this card. In fact, you probably want him on a different card to pump up that one. Dana White reveals the origins of the BMF, declares Max Holloway probably the greatest featherweight of all time. So let's be real with the BMF. And if you didn't see the short we put out earlier, we detailed this in like 50 seconds, but the bottom line is the BMF belt was created really to hype up Masvidal versus Nate Diaz, who are two guys that are no longer really at that point in time. Maybe Masvidal was in title contention, but they needed a fight to fill the void on that particular card, and they needed to come up with a belt, and that's where the BMF belt really originated. Maybe it was thought of before this fight. Maybe you save it for the perfect scenario that you need to hype up a fight, and that's what they did. And now this thing is going and going and going. Islam Makhachev has already shut it down. Says, what kind of belt is this? This is not championship belt. It means nothing. And if Gaethje wins the belt and he gets it strapped around his waist, that doesn't do anything. This fight does nothing for Justin Gaethje. He really should have just sat and waited for the title fight, because now it seems like Dustin Poirier, a.k.a. the Diamond, is going to sneak past him after a big win over Benoit Saint Denis. If Gaethje was available, they would still be able to say, well, Gaethje beat Poirier, but now Gaethje's not available, so that discussion is out, and Islam wants to fight 3 times a year. So it seems to me like DP is up next, but they're going to wait till UFC 300's over, because, the Oliveira-Tsarukyan fight could have a lot to say in that, because if Oliveira wins, then he's deserving of a rematch. So if you're Dustin Poirier, you want this fight signed before UFC 300 starts, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. But before we go any further in the news, that's a fight I wanted to bring the prediction to you the other day. We couldn't get to that video, so now is the best time to do it. So we'll take a quick break during this prediction. We'll come right back with more UFC news, but this is Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway for the so-called BMF belt. Check it out. In the lightweight division at UFC 300, you got Justin Gaethje coming in at 25-4, taking on your boy Max Holloway. He's moving up. He's 25-7. Both guys 5'11". Holloway 32, Gaethje 35. I'd argue both are still in their prime. Gaethje, 1-inch reach advantage, 70-69. Both guys stand right-handed. Both guys very active, over 7 significant strikes per minute. You can see why it's for the BMF belt. Both guys don't really get takedowns. So it's going to be a stand-up striking affair, power versus speed. And it's really going to be interesting to see if Holloway can hang in this thing, because Gaethje has a lot of power. Now he's got a 75% takedown defense that he even more means they're going to be on their feet. Gaethje beat Dustin Poirier in the last fight by KO. Rafael Fiziev by majority decision. His last loss was to Oliveira, who was dominant at the time. That came by rear submission. So that's what Gaethje's got. Now Holloway beats everybody except Volkanovski. He's beaten Chan Sung Jung, a.k.a. Korean Zombie, by KO. Arnold Allen, decision. Yair Rodriguez, decision. Calvin Kattar, decision. He lost to Volkanovski back in July of 2022 by decision. He's won 4 of his last 5. He's basically the best fighter in the featherweight division outside of the champ, at least for right now. But this isn't the featherweight division. This is the lightweight division. And even Holloway's dominant in the featherweight division, as is Volkanovski. You see what happens when these guys come up to the lightweight. Holloway is a tough dude, and he very rarely gets finished. But Gaethje is strong as heck, and I think that's why people want to see this fight. It's not so much whether Holloway can win. It would be crazy if he did. It's whether Gaethje can KO Holloway, and that's what people are going to be watching for. I think it'll happen. Gaethje's going to win this fight on the feet in dominant fashion, sheer power, to move to 26-4. Again, will he get the finish or not? That's what we want to see. Lightweight division, UFC 300. Yeah, and that's how he can flip the script on the whole situation. Why is he fighting Max Holloway? No one can understand. You just came off a win against DP. You're ready to fight for the title. Now you're fighting a featherweight who's coming up, who hasn't had success fighting in the lightweight division. He can flip the script with the KO. That's what needs to happen. If Gaethje KOs Holloway, there's going to be some naysayers like, oh, you're supposed to. He's a featherweight. But the fact is nobody has stopped Max Holloway. I repeat, nobody has KO'd Max Holloway. And if he can add his name to that list that doesn't exist, then maybe that catapults him to a title shot. But I have a feeling that Tsarukyan Oliveira is the one that the UFC is waiting to see how that plays out.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
What up? This your boy Chris Cross checking back in. 2 fights done, 3 to go, and not going nearly as fast as I thought it would go in the lead up to this. I thought Bo Nickal would get a quick finish. That didn't happen. But nonetheless, we got more fighting ahead of us. And next up, a big one, obviously, right? Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway. Max Holloway making the walk to the octagon right now. So we're about 4 to 5 minutes away from this fight starting. And the epic, legendary UFC 300 is not quite nearing the finish, but we're getting there. Right after this one, we got 2 title fights. This is for the BMF. Do we really want to consider that? No, I mean, we can't consider it like a title fight. It's not. And now, while you got Justin Gaethje fighting Max Holloway you got Arman Tsarukyan jumping up, and that's inevitably going to force Gaethje down unless Oliveira slides to 3 and Gaethje moves up to 2. That will be interesting, but I don't see that happening. So you're likely going to see Arman Tsarukyan at 1. Yeah, maybe Gaethje gets 2, but Oliveira 2, Gaethje 3, and this fight's not going to do anything for him because now you got a problem in this division. Or could the UFC just say to heck with it? Let's just let Dustin Poirier fight for the title and let Tsarukyan and potentially Justin Gaethje fight it out. And what if the unthinkable happens? What if Max Holloway wins? Then you got a bigger problem. Lightweight division is crazy. If Max Holloway wins this fight and Tsarukyan obviously just won, then where does Dustin Poirier play out in this whole thing? What will his ranking be? I mean, because this really would be unthinkable for Max Holloway to win this fight. It would. It'd just be unthinkable. No one's expecting that. But no one expected Cody Brundage to get out of the first round with Bo Nickal. And he did. And, you know, Max is a warrior. He looks really big at lightweight. You know, we're so used to seeing him at 145, did at 155. He looks more filled out. His legs look bigger. And, gosh, you see some of these guys, like even Aljamain Sterling, Davis and Figueiredo, these guys who move up divisions, they look like their natural self, right? Because they got to get so low in weight to fight in that lower division. And you're talking about, when you're looking at percentages, like 10 pounds is a big difference. The lower and lower you go in the division. You're 125 and you add 10 pounds, it's like 8% of your body, 10%. So these guys, like especially Max right now, his legs look thicker. He looks stronger. Doesn't mean he's a natural lightweight like Gaethje, but he just looks differently than he does a featherweight. Fact of the matter. And Gaethje's walking out. This is a big guy, man. But at the end of the day, they're both 5'11". Justin is 35 years old. This is a good situation for Max, really. He's getting an older fighter. But what we've seen consistently, and I mean consistently, is Dustin Poirier and Gaethje holding serve against guys below him. And you got to count Max below him because Max isn't even ranked in the division. They just consistently beat these guys. And it would be hard to fathom that Justin beat Dustin Poirier. And now he's going to come in and lose this one after Dustin beat Benoit Saint Denis. It's just... But Max Holloway, a.k.a. Blessed, you can never count him out of anything. So it's just it almost puts you at a loss for words because there's so much to fight for both guys. But that fight against DP, when he landed that leg kick and got the finish, he just looked absolutely dominant. And this is a guy that could potentially finish Max Holloway by KO for the first time. Gaethje, current BMF champion. See, I don't like that word champion attached to it. Former interim UFC lightweight champion. That's more of a big deal. Second highest strike accuracy in the lightweight division ever. Not right now, ever. 60%. That's pretty darn good. And you think, okay, if he's 70% accuracy, then he's not throwing that much. He just calculated, you know, instead of throwing 100 and landing 50, he's throwing like 50 and landing 35 of those 50. But no, the guy lands over 7 significant strikes per minute. So does Holloway. So you're getting ready If Gaethje can't put him away early, you're getting ready to see an absolute battle here in this fight in terms of activity. I mean, the takedown game is non-existent. Holloway literally lands a takedown every 9 rounds. Gaethje every 18. So there's no takedowns coming in this one. At least it looks that way on paper. And they're very even. Both 5'11". Gaethje's got a 1-inch reach advantage. And I'm sure he's not taking Max Holloway lightly. I'm sure. I promise you. In fact, he's not taking Max Holloway lightly. It looks like we got to fix this. We got. All right, there we go. Just in time. So here we go. UFC 300. Finally, Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway, a.k.a. Blessed. Many people think he's going to lose his fight, but will he get finished, right? That's really what you want to know. But I say hold on. It's Max Holloway. Anything is possible. Bruce Buffer doing his thing. He's getting everyone checked in. Both guys getting checked in. Max Holloway already checked in. Actually, he's getting checked in right now. They got the lights turned down. You got the phones flashing all over the arena. You got Max Holloway getting introduced. He looks much bigger at 155 pounds. It's incredible. He just looks more filled out. Much more filled out. Obviously, 10 pounds is a big deal when you're, 145. 10 pounds is a big deal. To go up to 155. He just looks stronger. And he's younger. This is I would want to fight Justin Gaethje, though. Tough situation for Max Holloway. I just keep going back and forth. I always give him a chance, but Gaethje has been ridiculous. Now we get a look at Gaethje. Denver, Colorado. Favorite 155. He's 25-4. And they're listing Gaethje as a champ. I mean, it's a little bit too much with the BMF thing, man. I don't think it should be, the word champ should be attached to it. You think about the BMF, they basically made this thing to make Masvidal and Nate Diaz relevant. Not that you had to make that relevant, but that's what it was created for. Now, it's gone from one guy to like 3 now. And they're trying to make a big deal of this. But the bottom line is this is a great fight. And it doesn't matter if the BMF is on the line or not. Here we go. Both guys touch gloves, are getting instructions. And the stare down begins. And I don't know what to expect here. I really don't know what to expect. I mean, Holloway is going to be a little bit faster, moving up. Justin Gaethje has the power to finish a fight at any given second in the fight. But Holloway's never been finished. And here we go. And you've seen some great fights throughout the night. I mean, every fight you got to consider too. You're not getting like these early prelims where you don't know the fighters quite as well. And sometimes it's one person's heavily outmatched. So you're getting some quick finishes early and you're sitting around a little bit. Not like that tonight. Like, all these fights have been great. They'll still be able to give a clear fight of the night. They'll be able to get all that figured out. But the bottom line is it's just been a great night in terms of what we've seen. Both guys feeling each other out right now. Max Holloway, very active, and see how will that play with Gaethje, who wants to stay on the feet, but he's got a guy that's going to be pretty quick, feels stronger, and don't necessarily need to KO you. He just wants to outpace you. And a lot of times when you get a guy like Max Holloway come up, you'll you'll get the opponent start to test their strength, right? Go in for takedowns, take them, try to pit him up against the fence, utilize control time, out-muscle him. Gaethje's not trying to do that. He's going to stand right what Max wants. He's going to stand up and strike with Max. So from that perspective, that's a good thing for Max Holloway. But at this, big left by Max. Oh, there's the power from Justin. But one thing Holloway will do is he'll keep landing. Oh, big left by Holloway. Look out. Look out. And the one problem Gaethje's having here is the quickness of Max Holloway, in and out, side to side. And Gaethje wants to stand in the pocket and throw, but he's not finding Holloway there when he throws, at least right now. Max Holloway seems a step quicker on every punch. Crouch and Holloway here starting to believe a little bit, liking what they're seeing. He's up 18-6 in significant strikes. Wow. Oh, and this is a 5-round fight. See, I didn't realize that. I should have. Wow. Wow. So no need to panic here if you're Justin. But Max Holloway will sit in there and just try to pick you apart all night. And a little confusion from Gaethje. It's got to be. I mean, he's only got 7 significant strikes right now, 4 minutes in. And he's averaging under 2 significant strikes per minute, down from 7. 30 seconds left. Oh, Gaethje slips, takes a right. They touch gloves. Ooh, spinning back kick. And I'll tell you what, I don't know, baby, if Max could pull this off. That opens up a world of possibility. I don't think he ever goes back to featherweight. I mean, you're talking about he's fighting a legitimate guy in Justin, and Justin looks like just looking in the corner that he's had a rough first round. Look at that. Wow. Spinning back kick. Boom. Right at the bell. And it got him right in the nose. And you see Justin immediately grabbing at it. Oh. Yeah, and it looked like Max definitely caught him there at the end of round 1. I mean, that's what we kept seeing during the break. Yeah, and right now, Max has got to continue to attack the same way he did in round 1. And we'll see if Gaethje changes it up. But we haven't really seen him. You start getting beat on the feet, you got to go for takedowns. We haven't ever seen that from Gaethje. Very rare. But Max Holloway is taking Justin Gaethje out of this fight, at least right now, with his ability to stay out of range come in and land jabs. When he gets in trouble, he pulls something out of his pocket like a spinning back kick or whatever. But looking good here early in round 2. And Justin's going to have problems with that nose the rest of the fight. That's clear. And if you're Max, you just want to continue touching it. Because every time you touch it, it's got to hurt. I mean, this would change everything in this division. I mean, this is going to cause all types of problems if Max Holloway can pull this thing out. All types of problems. Because you just throw another guy in there in the top 5. I mean, it's just crazy. And sometimes in a lightweight division, you look down at like number 7, you're like, whoa, he's 7? Like, he should be 2. Uh-oh, do we got a poke here? No, come on. Uh-oh. And he poked him good. Oh, boy. Definitely bothering him. Oh, yeah, Max got him right with the right finger. Oh. He got him right with the right finger on the poke. And we're going to have a time here. And hopefully when they just use the towel, you know, they get in there, he'll be all right. But he got him. He got him pretty good. And Justin is not going to give up. That's the good thing about him. And yeah, it's evident, right, when you look at him. And he could have been one of those guys we've seen in the past. It just starts. He could have walked that into the end of a fight and basically be a no contest. Easily could have walked into that. And he says no. And we've seen guys do it before. It just happened like a week or 2 ago. It happens. And this is hard to believe because Max Holloway is putting on a clinic right now. 37-12 in significant strikes, 14-6 in head strikes. And it's not like he's landing at a high clip, but he's completely taken Gaethje out of what he's used to. And that's a guy that will stand in there and throw. He can defend takedowns well. He knows a lot of lightweights want to come in for takedowns, so you're going to be in close quarters. And that's worked for him, worked well for him before. Even Dustin would sit in there and throw with him. And that's what got him in range for the head kick. But the thing with Holloway is he's always moving. Now he takes a right there. Now a leg kick. And we'll see how this fight plays out as time goes on. But I don't foresee Holloway getting slower. I think Gaethje's going to have to pick it up and start landing some shots. He's got the power to do it. Another eye poke. Oh, no. Jeez. Gosh, Holloway got him good again with the thumb in the other eye. Oh, yeah. Come on, Max. And I think it was reported this week among the many stories trying to keep up that the UFC is going to be moving to new gloves. I don't know how quickly that's going to happen, but we've definitely seen in this age over the last year guys with, fingers up like this, and it's leading to a lot of this stuff on those quick jabs where they don't always want to be squeezing the way that they have to. So you've seen a lot of pokes as time goes on. Under 1 minute here, round 2. And we've seen this before. Gaethje looks like he's been in a 5-round fight already. And then you wonder, like, how is he going to make it And then you get into round 4 and he still looks the same. I mean, these guys have been here before. I'm sure Gaethje's kind of like, Max is that good, but figure he's coming up, you'll be able to overpower him. It just hasn't happened. Yeah, and Gaethje's starting to really work that lead leg, and that can start to cause problems for Max. Ooh. Boy, they're coming together. 2 big rights by Max there at the end of the round. And oh, baby. 48-19 in significant strikes. Look at Max, man. Who would have believed Gaethje would have 19 significant strikes in 10 minutes? As I said the stats earlier, I'm like, okay, Gaethje's going to be over 2 significant strikes soon. At about 4 minutes in. Now we're 10 minutes in. He's still under 2 significant strikes per minute. So Max, if this continues, is going to hold him to like 50 significant strikes. You got to believe this is going to get more intense as we go forward, but in the first 2 rounds, Max Holloway's put on a clinic. Both by limiting Justin's ability to land strikes and by himself keeping himself out of trouble. In and out, moving side to side. Gaethje wants to, stand and kind of slide step forward a little bit and wants you to come to him, and Max Holloway's not giving that to him. So Gaethje's he's going to have to be more aggressive and start to chase a little bit. And Max Holloway can't slow down for a minute because Justin wants to continue to kick the leg. And Holloway winning in basically every category, as we said. No takedowns, probably in this fight. 53-21 in significant strikes. 18-10 head strikes. Round 3 is underway. And leg strikes 16-9. 20-2 body shots. So Max Holloway just much more active here than Justin Gaethje. Max still landed leg kicks 3 in a row. And Holloway trying to kick. Max isn't there when he goes to land it. And it's amazing. Figueiredo did it earlier against Garbrandt. He's up 10 pounds now, looking good. Max Holloway starting to do it here. It looks like, anyway. I mean, we're still not even midway through the fight, though. A lot of time left. Oh. Biggest right landed by Justin so far. And the momentum is slowly starting to turn towards Justin here in round 3. He's looking more comfortable. Holloway's coming to him a little bit. Holloway's not moving quite as much. And that's putting him within that window where Justin wants him to be. If you're Max, you need to maintain the energy. He's not going in and out as much. He's standing in one spot. There's he getting out. Nice combo, left, right. There you go. Spinning back kick lands. Gaethje covers up. Now they're back to the center. Gaethje misses on a big right. Holloway drops him with a left. Look at this. Here we go. Don't get lured in, Max. Don't get lured in. Halfway through the fight. Don't get lured in. You don't want to stand in the pocket with Justin. That's where he wants you. Continue staying on the outside. And he lands a leg kick. Good. Getting back into form a little bit here. So it looked like the momentum was swinging to Justin. Now it swung back to Max a little bit. We're kind of in that middle where it could still turn towards Justin, but Max is leading the fight for sure. and looking good. Another spinning back kick lands. Goodness gracious. 3 for 3 on those. And I don't know what you got to do. If Holloway wins this by decision or he does get a finish, I don't know. But if Max Holloway wins this fight, they're going to have to find a way to give him some type of performance bonus because no one expected this. I shouldn't say nobody. Max Holloway's got a lot of fans. But deep down, you figure this is a fight that Justin is supposed to win. But when the odds come out and it's, under 2-1, you're like, okay. People are seeing something here. But I'm definitely surprised. I thought Justin would easily win this fight. Big question is whether he can get a KO. And now Max Holloway is looking good. And I'm a Max Holloway fan. So it makes this thing very, very difficult in picking Gaethje to win. But sitting here rooting for Max. That's kind of how it'll be tonight with Jamahal Hill. Like, we got Pereira. Early sneak peek. We got Pereira. But I'm almost rooting for Jamahal Hill. A lot like Rakic. I think that, and we've seen this, right? It's starting to be proven. Chris Weidman lost the first fight in the return. Yuri Prochazka lost the first fight in return. Alexander Rakic loses the first fight in return. So Jamahal Hill's got to do something that 3 other guys couldn't do, right? When you have a tough injury and you're talking about an Achilles injury, as we sit through in between rounds 3 and 4 here, both guys in the corner. But Jamahal Hill's got to do something that 3 other guys couldn't do. And Achilles is for real. I mean, that's for real. So, we'll see. He's got the will, but Pereira's not a guy to go in there and mess around with if you're not 100%. Even 95% is not good enough. Both guys getting instructions. I think Max Holloway has done a phenomenal job over the first 3 rounds. Is he up 3-0? He should be. But if you're Max here in round 4, you got to keep your foot on the gas pedal. That's the bottom line. Keep the foot on the gas pedal. Both guys touch gloves, and here we go. Round 4 is underway. And this could be a long night. If we got 3 fights, it could potentially go 5 rounds. It doesn't look like, and I can't remember if it was against Dustin Poirier or whoever, but it doesn't look like the last fight where Max came up. And, he hung in there, but he obviously got beat. This one looks like he's totally in the fight and he's winning the fight. Oof. Justin lands a left and a right combo there. Nice. And there's got to be a sense of urgency. I didn't get to hear what Justin Gaethje's corner told him, but they got to have been telling him that he's got to have a sense of urgency. Pretty simple. A lot of people saying here, 3-0, Max. So you're starting to see Justin pick up the pace. He's really throwing. He's letting loose a little bit here in round 4. Hasn't landed on Max really, but was that a spinning back elbow? Oh my gosh. Max Holloway landed. Boy, Max lands another left. This is crazy, man. Oh. Look at this, dude. Come on, Max. It's crazy. And now can Justin Gaethje dig deep and find a way to do something no one else has done? Because now that's the only way he's going to win the fight. So it's up the ante now. Gaethje has got to get the finish. There's no other way around it. 96-49 in significant strikes. Just a clinic. Yeah, Justin's got to turn this into a battle. He's got to get in the pocket and force Max there. And I know you're a striker, but you can't let Max get out of there. You got to use your hands to keep him. And I don't know. But it's definitely got to get more physical for Justin. And this is actually the perfect lightweight fight for Max. Now that you're seeing it, you saw it on paper, but you just believe Justin's going to continue striking as well as, if not better, than Max. But this is actually a perfect fight for Max because he doesn't have to worry. You should be worried if you're Holloway about the guy getting a hold of you, controlling you in the defense, not necessarily landing takedowns, which would be great, but just controlling you, muscling you, keeping the body on you. Gaethje wants to do the same thing as Max. He wants to stand up and strike, and that's it. And that's why this is a perfect setup fight for Holloway as I'm watching it play out. And look at this. Holloway's been up big in every round. 27-7, 21-12, 25-18, 29-12. Gaethje takes him down. Come on. Oh, Max is in a little bit of trouble here. Oh, Justin lands a big right. And Max is just trying to move around. Yeah, right now you want to move around and stay away. There's under a minute left in a round. And this is what you got to be careful of. Where was this earlier for Gaethje? You're starting to see the feints. And it's there because Max isn't able to move as much. So he's starting to be right where Gaethje would expect him to be. You don't see that in round one because Max is so good about moving around and, Gaethje's more flat-footed. He's not going to move with you as well. He's going to take a chance on a big left or right. Then he's going to have to reset because Max is constantly moving away from where he was a second earlier. All right, yeah, so he looked much better in this round. I don't know if he won it, but he's looking strong here down the stretch. And we're going to go to round 5. Ooh, buckle your seatbelts. We might be here for a little bit. Because even after this one, you got Zhang Weili and Yan Xiaonan. That could be a quick finish for Zhang Weili, or that could be a 5-round decision like this one looks like it's headed. Yeah, so Gaethje's corner is telling him, which is good. If you want this fight, you got to go take him down. You got to finish it. You can't just go and feel like, oh, I just need to have a good 5th round. You need to go in there and be like, I got to finish the fight. You're definitely down 3-1. I mean, he's got it. There's no way, to me, Justin Gaethje can win round 5 and win the fight. I mean, he's legitimately got to go in there and get the finish over Holloway. Bottom line. And Justin Gaethje pumping up the crowd. Final 5 minutes. And we didn't get to hear much of what Holloway's corner was saying to him. It's tricky. It's tricky, right? Because you know your fighter's winning, but you also can't take your foot off the gas pedal. So it's like you still got to put yourself in harm's way. But you're also, on the other end, you're winning the fight. You don't want to risk it too much. But when you don't risk it is when Gaethje's going to put his foot on the gas pedal. So you got to continue doing what you've been doing. At the end of the day, that's the best advice. 4:15 left. First 45 seconds gone in round 5. Oh, spinning back kick landed again. Max is on the money with those. Max has so many things he can do, man. Just he can jab, he's got the power shots, he's got the straight leg kicks, the side leg kicks, spinning back kicks. I mean, it's just so many things he can do. Yeah, Max clearly working the outside. And man, this is crazy to see. This is just a perfect fight for Max because he does not have to worry about defending takedowns and clinching up. Oh, look at this. He's got Gaethje in trouble. Ooh, Gaethje's in trouble. Come on, Max. This will be crazy. This will be crazy. Max is opening up. Look at this, man. Look at this. And he's got to be careful here. Right? You're winning the fight. He's got to be a little careful here. Don't give Justin a chance. A spinning back kick. And it looked like Gaethje was going to go down, but Max don't want to get lured in either. You're 2 minutes away from victory. 2:40 away from victory. See, what might take away the fight of the night is that it's so one-sided for Max, 137 to 68. And then, but this is definitely performance of the night. 100%. I don't think you can beat it. All you can do is tie it. Max Holloway, not only with the performance of the night here, doing what most MMA fans didn't expect to happen. Oh, big right by Max. Another spinning back kick. Both guys landing kicks at the same time. Incredible. And Max Holloway seems to be cruising to victory, though. He's got another minute to go. I mean, we're literally seeing it. Oh, my goodness. Let's go, Max. Let's go, Max. Keep it going now. Get out of there. And Max Holloway just pulling away, doubling up Gaethje, 148 to 70 in significant strikes. I mean, it's crazy. This is crazy. Unreal. Max lands another left-right combination. Gaethje really slowing down now, just basically just trying to get to the finish of this fight. That's all you can do is just get to the finish of this fight. But if you're Max, just stay out of trouble. Another spinning back kick. It's incredible. .45 seconds left. Oh, big right by Justin. It's like the KO power, even though you're watching him get dominated by Max Holloway, the KO power is always there. So it's like if you're Max, you just got to get across his finish line. Ooh, Max comes forward a flying knee. And every time you think Justin's just about to overpower Max, Max does something wild. Spinning back kick, flying knee. I mean, it's incredible. Final 13 seconds of this fight. What an incredible fight here. We're in the final. There's a tap. There's a tap. Oh, look at Max. He's saying they're standing right in the middle. He don't care. Look at this. He's standing. Oh, he drops Gaethje with 1 second left. Max Holloway finishes Gaethje with 1 second left, bro. This will go down as the most epic performance in UFC history. I'm telling you right now. Holy crap. Not only is this stunning because he's not expected to win, but he finishes Gaethje with 1 second and says, come forward. Like, he's winning the fight. All he's got to do is run away, okay? He's saying, come to the middle, come to the middle. And then whop, 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 boom. Gaethje goes right down. And I don't even know if the ref had time to stop it because it was at 1 second. but it was clearly like Gaethje's out. You got to give him the KO. Oh my gosh, he's up 4-0 and he's taking that chance and he's like in there. Dude, bro. Dude. We got a major problem in the lightweight division. Look at this replay. Bomb, 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 bomb. Woo. Look at this. Look at this. Boom! Woo! Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. Dude, we got endless conversations to have about the lightweight division. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at this. 3, 2. This is really slow motion. He hit him at 2 as it's going to 1. Gaethje's down and out at 1. And the clock never hits 0. Oh my gosh. And look at Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan almost left the commentating booth to go into the fans. I mean, it's crazy. Oh my gosh. Unreal. I can't believe I just saw that. The night could end right now. We've seen it. I mean, that's all. The night could end right now. That's incredible. Max Holloway finishes Justin Gaethje at the bell. Lightweight division. UFC 300. Whew. Somebody get me some water. Oh my gosh. And guess what? He's going to get kind of what he wanted. And that's Mark Coleman to put the belt around his waist. And I guess we get an and new. All right, now that Holloway's got it, I guess I got to jump on board with the BMF. I don't know. Do we get the and new from Buffer? I think we do. And that just made the whole night. Like the night was already made, but that just made the whole night. It's like regardless of what happens here, that was insane. That was absolutely ridiculous. Here we go. Should get the and new. Woo, KO. And new. All right, it's a little crazy with the BMF. But listen, if there's ever, I'll tell you what, if we get some crazy situations that happen, like this, is this a word, re-legitimizes? I don't know. But this definitely makes the BMF belt have a little sway now. And you got a major problem in the lightweight rankings. What's going to happen here? Tsarukyan beat Oliveira and Max Holloway beat Justin Gaethje. The whole thing, the whole division is just changed in a moment's notice. The top 2 contenders fell in the lightweight division. When was the last time that has ever happened in recent history? It's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. What we just witnessed. What Holloway just did is flat out incredible. As we catch the interview here, Joe Rogan's going crazy. Everybody's going crazy right now. Oh my gosh. So now what do we get? I mean, let's just think about this real quick. Is it possible? What do we get now? Max Holloway. Who fights for the title? We got like a title sweepstakes going on. How much does Dustin move up? Predicting the order of the top 3 is going to be very difficult now. Dustin Poirier would be the highest contender left, but Arman Tsarukyan is going to jump in there. Max Holloway is going to jump in there. You got major problems here if you're trying to sort this out. Whoever's doing these predictions, rankings this week is going to have a tough time trying to sort this out. And the matchmakers are going to have to figure this out. There's a lot to be figured out here. But we just saw something that I think deep down in our hearts we knew wouldn't happen. But Max Holloway can never be counted out, man. This guy can never be counted out. Unbelievable. And you see, 10 seconds left. He points to the floor like, come on. Come to the center and fight. And think about it. He's up 4-0 at this point. You have everything to lose, right? And you could say nothing to gain, but the fact is he got the KO, so he did have something to gain. And it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And we're going to go to break here in a minute. We're going to get into some of the reactions tonight from the early prelims, and then before the main event, we'll get to the prelim reactions. So, I'm still in awe. I'm still in awe. So as I get this thing tuned up, we're gonna be back in about just a few minutes. And again, you're gonna see the early predictions. You're gonna see the breakdown for Yan Xiaonan and Zhang Weili. And I hope we get some more fireworks because Max Holloway right now has got the performance of the night bonus. He should get a finish. Max Holloway should get like 600K for what just happened. That man should get 600K. That is crazy, bro. Unreal. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. Unbelievable. Cody's got to escape, man. He's been on his back for this entire round. 90 seconds in arm triangle. He got out of that. But now Figgy's got him stretched out. Cody on his back nearly escaped a moment ago. Oh, here he goes again. Looking for another escape. He gives up his back. Oh, my goodness. All right, he's fighting it all for now. But the whole round's been this way. Oh, and he's got the rear locked in. And you see Cody's face. He's going to tap. He's going to tap now. Yeah, he does. Wow. Davison Figueiredo, a.k.a. Figgy, gets Cody Garbrandt to tap. Think about that. That's crazy. Figgy now 2-0 since moving to the bantamweight division. Wins over Rob Font and Cody Garbrandt. And this guy's 23-3-1 and no longer has to worry himself with trying to cut so much weight at 125. Instead, he's at 135. So that's a huge win over Cody. Kind of to be expected, but Cody really fought well here in the second round. It's just too much from Figgy at the end, but man, if you see this full second round, unbelievable. But Figgy gets the win here. UFC 300. Bantamweight style. Oh, Bobby Green. Let's go. And Jim Miller goes down. And it's unbelievable because Jim Miller has just weathered the storm here throughout this fight. And he caught Bobby Green a second ago. And then Bobby Green took it and said, come on, let's go, come to the center. And then he knocked down Jim Miller. 20 seconds left, and Jim Miller's just trying to make it to the bell. And it's just unbelievable. Bobby Green, dominant fashion here. 147-51 right now. And he picks Jim Miller up and slams him. Wow, nice. Now Bobby has top position at the bell, and that's it. And listen, easy victory here. Well, I shouldn't say easy. I don't mean easy in terms of the action. 149-51 in significant strikes at the end. 117-27 in head strikes. Jim Miller came out fast and furious and then kind of slowed down. Bobby Green started to take over, 3 punches to 1. So easy victory here, unanimous decision. Bobby Green is moving to 32-15, lightweight division, UFC 300. Yeah, they're headed to a decision. Jessica Andrade, Marina Rodriguez. And I don't know. Andrade led 101-68 in significant strikes, but, she was looked to be ahead going into the third round. Then Marina came back. Then Andrade came back in the same round. And it's going to be a very close decision. Total strikes, so Andrade much more active, 124-73. But the thing Marina's got going for her here, she did lead 61-51 in head strikes. So a lot of Andrade's strikes were to the body, to the legs. So we'll see, 29-1 leg kicks. So we'll see how much the judges weigh that. Just never know with these judges, man. You just never know. Andrade 25-12, Rodriguez 17-3, and it's like Andrade keeps finding ways to put herself back in the mix. And this will be a big one. Here we go. Here we go. Ooh. Come on, put us at 3-0. Give it to Andrade. Oh, it's going to be split. 29-28 Marina. 29-28 Andrade. Come on. Come on. Give it to her. Yes! Yes. Jessica Andrade gets the win. Split decision. Very close. Former champ, 26-12 now. And she's coming. That was a big one because you knew it was going to be close. But Andrade gets the win here. Women's strawweight division. UFC 300. Turner's got to find a way to get back to his feet. I mean, Moicano is just drained this entire round. We're approaching the minute mark, and now he's going to get back to a full mount. Oh, and Turner's in a rough spot here. Moicano opening up. No. Moicano's opening up, and Jalen's not fighting back right now. He's covering up. Herb Dean saying fight back, and that's it. Moicano gets the win. Dang. Tough fight there. Renato Moicano moves to 19-5, and that's going to set Jalen Turner back a little bit. And that's a fight he really wanted to win. Really should have finished him in the first round, but didn't have that instinct to go in for the finish. Looking at Herb Dean saying the fight was over, probably could have finished him, and he'll learn from that, hopefully going forward. Especially against a guy like Renato Moicano. You got to beat him and really beat him. And you see Jalen Turner's reaction after the stoppage here. 49 seconds left in round 2. Moicano moves to 19-5. Big, big division always. Lightweight division. UFC 3. Fight that we didn't get into yet, that we should have got into earlier in the week, is Zhang Weili and Yan Xiaonan. I mean, this thing is for the title. It's a big one. And it can go either way. And since Marina Rodriguez, she said she's going to be calling out one of these fighters afterwards. She said, when she wins, she will call out a Chinese fighter. And by the time this fight comes, we'll already know if she won that fight. But either way, a Chinese fighter is going to win. And she's fighting earlier, so she's going to call them out. She can call them both out. Just say, I want the winner of that fight. But it's going to be highly interesting. And the good thing for China is no matter what, someone from China is walking out with the belt. Let's get into it right now. In the women's strawweight division, for the women's strawweight division title, got Zhang Weili, current champion, 24-3, taking on Yan Xiaonan, who comes in at 17-3. This is China versus China for the belt. So guess what? China can't lose in this one, right? Xiaonan, 1 inch taller at 5'5". She's 34, so is Zhang Weili. Both have a 63-inch reach. Weili, switch stance. Yan Xiaonan stands right-handed. Both are well over 5.5 significant strikes per minute, so no big difference there. But Zhang Weili will land like a takedown per round, while Xiaonan gets one like every 3 rounds. So big difference. Now Magnum, a.k.a. Weili, 66% takedown defense. Not great. Coming off 3 back-to-back wins against Lemos. Decision. She also beat Carla Esparza for the belt by submission, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk by spinning back fist KO. So she's on a roll and back into prime form right now. Now, Yan Xiaonan beat Jessica Andrade. Big win by first round KO. That's crazy. Mackenzie Dern, majority decision, but dominated that fight 113-61 in significant strikes. So both are rolling right now. Both are pretty, even, about the same takedown defense. I'd say Zhang Weili has a slight advantage in striking and a big advantage on the takedowns. So we're going to have to see how this thing plays out, but I can't go against Zhang Weili right now. I mean, you know, she came back and got the belt, has won 3 in a row. She's got all the momentum in the world. Look for her to win and maintain her glory to move to 25-3 here, women's strawweight division, UFC 300. Yeah, you would think the champ has a good chance to win this one. I don't think anyone's on her level right now. Rose Namajunas could potentially beat her, but she's moving up, maybe back down. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, Zhang Weili wins, and if she keeps winning, we're going to need a fresh fighter to take her on, or we're going to need Rose Namajunas to come back down and fight her, I believe, a 3rd time. But yeah, Zhang Weili wins this one.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
What up? This your boy Chris Cross checking back in. This is the TCMMA podcast. Now listen, we got both fighters getting ready to make the walk. We got about 5 to 10 minutes before this fight kicks off. So we got time to get into a little Q&A. We're down to 6 and 5 on the night. We got more on that. But let's get to a little Q&A, and we'll be right back for Zhang Weili and Jan Zhaunen.
You're watching
Stay tuned.
the TCMMA podcast.
Topo Maktopo. We haven't seen him in a while. He says, hey, Chris, UFC 300 is a very good card. First time I've been excited for a while. And that's a great statement, you know, because we do these every week. And everybody's always saying, how are the fights this week? You know, who's fighting? I'm like, they're all right. You know, they're all right. Pay-per-view's always good. But 300 is a big one. It's like, this is why the fights haven't been great leading up. Not terrible, but just not any really big fights except for the main event in the pay-per-views. Now everybody's fighting on one card. So then for the 301, it's not going to be that great, right? Probably. But we'll take it. We will absolutely take it for what it is right now. Ryan says, for your information, apart from fasting during the month of Ramadan, Makhachev also performed Sunnah fasting 3 days every month throughout the year. That's crazy, right? That's insane. And talking to some friends this week about Ramadan, I didn't realize you can't even drink during the day. You can't even, I mean, that's the kicker, as a friend said. That's the kicker, because, you know, you can do without the food, but you get thirsty, especially towards the end of the day. So, much love out there to everyone that did that for the past month, or however long it lasted. I don't want to pretend like I know everything about it, because I obviously don't. The master says, I have a feeling Armand has been cooking something special for Oliveira. Oh, you think so? I think Oliveira wins. He's going to come in with a great game plan or win convincingly. Oh, wow. We'll see. Lightweight division, you just never know. There were those fights that Oliveira won that he could have easily lost. It seems like these fights are always very close and can go one way or the other. I respect it. Here we go. Colby Chavez. I love when he did this in the past. Says Hill by KO 4. Zhang, decision. Holloway, decision. Wow. Tsarukyan KO 1 over Oliveira. Bo Nickal sub 1. I think KO. But yeah, when you're dealing with Cody Brundage who has some power, yeah, probably it could be a sub. You're right. Prohaska KO 1. Calvin Kattar decision. Holm decision. Yusuf decision. Turner KO 1. I like that. Rodriguez KO 2, Marina over Andrade. Bobby Green decision over Jim Miller, and Garbrandt decision over Figueiredo. I love it. And we'll revisit this on the reaction show Sunday. After this all plays out, we'll revisit this. See how our picks went, see how Colby's picks went, and we'll go from there. Last time he put these up, he beat me pretty good. So we'll see what happens now. It's comeback time. At Icon says, dominate? Probably not. Speaking of Yuri over Alexander Rakic. Will be a competitive fight, 50-50 on this one, but I will go with Yuri via decision. I respect it. Another one weighs in on Hamza. Not sure why my comment went away. But as a Muslim, I love your insight on fasting. Others think of it as extreme without seeing the health benefits. Also can't wait for Hamza fight. Yeah, and again, I don't want to pretend I know a lot about this stuff. I don't. I understand the fasting part. I understand how long it goes for. I didn't realize you can't drink fluids like water or a Gatorade or a Coke or anything like that. You just gotta, when the sun's up, when it's light, you can't eat or drink anything. So who am I to say anything against that? I mean, that's willpower right there. I mean, that is absolute willpower, for sure. For sure. Respect it. Hamza went through it. Islam went through it. I know the Muslim community around here had like 800 people at like a barbecue or cookout or something the day when fasting ended. So, all right, so we'll bring it back. UFC 300. We are live. TCMMA podcast. It's your boy Chris Cross, and we're just giving them time to get to this co-main event. I mean, there's so much going on after Max Holloway's win. Unbelievable. Not only win, convincing domination, and overall finish with 1 second left in a 25-minute fight. But now, you got Zhang Li and Yan Xiaonan fighting for the women's strawweight title. And, we haven't done this in a while. We got to get back to this. I think lightweight wins if we do those polls we used to do. Breaking down the best division. Going through 3 or 4 polls, working our way to the top 3 or 4 divisions. Really top 3. And get a vote on those 3. And it's usually lightweight, welterweight, women's strawweight. The bantamweight was making a run for a while. The light heavyweight's starting to move up. But lightweight takes a cake. But definitely women's strawweight is up there. And this is for the title. China on China. Big opportunity for Yan Xiaonan. And it's hard to say how this matchup will even go down. Both good strikers. Zhang Li with a little bit better of a ground game. And I expect her to win this fight, but I also expected Justin Gaethje to win. We're 6-5 at this point in the night, so a lot of people we expected to win lost. And some other ones like an Aljamain Sterling here, Davis and Figueiredo, all these guys came through. So if we can get this, it'll be a winning night at worst. And I'm not convinced about Pereira versus Hill next either way. So we need to go ahead and get Zhang Li to win this fight to at least make for a winning night. We do not want to have a losing night at the most epic event of all time, right? That's where we're at. So you heard the prediction moments ago. So you heard the full fight breakdown. But Yan Xiaonan 18-3, Zhang Li 24-3. Both very good fighters. And if Yan can win this, she'll take over the division. But guess what? Zhang Li is a 5-1 favorite. And it's funny, you're used to fighting for the title, the height of multiple countries. You're the best fighter of multiple countries. And now you got to defend the belt against fellow Chinese fighter Yan Xiaonan. So now you're fighting for everything's on the line. You want to be the best in China. You want to be the best in the division. Everything is on the line here for Zhang Li. So here we go. Women's strawweight division. Title is on the line. Zhang Li, Yan Xiaonan, China versus China, UFC 300. And the crowd is still coming down from a fight that lasted 24 minutes and 59 seconds, resulting in Max Holloway getting the KO with 1 second left in the fight. I mean, that was just crazy. But here we go. China versus China. And I'll tell you what, when we did the predictions leading up, this was number 2 out of 13. A lot of people liking this fight. That's why it's the co-main event. Zhang Li in red, Yan Xiaonan in white. And it's already clear. Both fighters are very quick. There's going to be a lot of movement in and out. Nice leg kick already by Zhang. And we're due for a quick finish. I mean, we've seen some long fights tonight. Even the Bo Nickal fight went longer than we thought. And now Yan looking for the takedown. Zhang Li Maintains her balance. And now she got the leg wrapped around trying to prevent the takedown. And we'll see if Zhang can muscle her. Zhang Weili spins her back. Now they're more towards the center. And they let loose, and here we go. Back to the center of the octagon. But when I feel like I'm catching my breath, I feel like all the fans, it's kind of quiet right now. Everybody just coming back down to earth for a second. We hit the peak of this event. We only still got 2 fights left. Both fighters open it up now. At any time, someone could get caught. Very quick in this weight class. Both these fighters, strong legs, strong shoulders, low to the ground, and very capable of finishing a fight. Ooh, look at this. Jan Xiaonan with a strong takedown. And this is not something you'd expect coming into this fight. And Jan landed a punch on the way up. Back to the center halfway through round 1. Come on, Weili, let's go. Let's get it going. Show you the champ. Very close early on, 8-7 and significant strikes, and Jan takes down Weili with a big right. Weili gets right back up, but she definitely caught her. And a nice leg kick. Really by both fighters. First by Zhang Weili and then returned by Xiaonan. Three straight fights, 5 rounds. We're in the second one. All 6 fighters very capable of finishing the fight at any time. All 3 matchups very, very close. I mean, you see Zhang Weili's a 5-1 favorite in this fight, but it certainly doesn't look like it right now. Looks very even. Ooh. Look at this, Zhang Weili with a hip toss. Now she's got side control. See what she can do here. 50 seconds left. Now she's almost looking for the crucifix. I don't think she's got time to implement this right now, though. 40 seconds left. And Jan's doing just enough to where she can't get it. But Weili maintaining side control. And this is what you'd expect now with the ground game for Weili. Now she stretches out Jan, and Jan's in a little bit of trouble here. She's giving up the back. Oh, look at this. Weili's got it locked in with 18 seconds left. Boy, and it's tight. Jan's in trouble. This is tight, dude. She's in trouble. She gives a thumbs up. It looks like it's... Oh, my gosh. Wow, and she's going to make it. I cannot believe it. She was out. She was out. Oh, my goodness. Jan was out. She's basically out at the bell. And then Zhang held on for another second and let go. And I don't know if she... This is going to be a rough situation for Jan. Yeah, she was out. She put the thumbs up, but she's definitely out there. Yeah, she's out. If there's another second or two, I think the ref stops it. And now the ref's wishing he stop it. because she was finished. Wow, so she got some of the smell and stuff in the corner, and now Joe Rogan's saying, can you even do that? And no one knows if you're allowed to do that. Wow. Yeah, so I'm not sure about that either. I mean, like, that's like the old days of boxing, where you're like out and they let you breathe in something and then you're fresh again. And now it looks like Jan's back. That's crazy. And it's a championship fight, so we'll see if that anything comes from that. Ooh. Here comes Zhang Weili. She's looking for the takedown. She gets it. Now she's going to go right back to work on where she was before, and now is going for the submission. And I would imagine she's going to probably get it this time, because Jan's got to be tired. And I don't know how much that takes out on you, the fact that you were in a near submission finish, but were saved by the bell. So you were like on your way to lose him. And then how much does that take out of you? Or are you back 100% a minute later? I don't know. But Zhang Weili definitely trying to maintain control here. 3:45 left in round 2. And this is going to be absolutely tough for Jan Gionin to come back from this, as this fight is completely slid into the favor of Zhang Weili. Yeah, and Yan Xiaonan's got to be running out of gas now. I mean, she's defending positions with one of the best on top. And if you make one mistake, you're going to be in a bad position once again. Zhang Weili just much better on the ground. At least that's what she's shown so far. And if she can open up and start landing some strikes, you're going to get Yan Xiaonan to roll to her stomach again, and you can get the finish. But this time she's got 2:45 to work with, not 45 seconds. Now Yan trying to roll out of it. Don't want to give up the back again. She does. And smart to roll back to stomach on stomach. And there you go. There you go, Weili. Open up a little bit. Let's go. Now she's going to stretch her out again, and here we go. This is what we saw before. And now she's going to pound away, and I bet the ref don't let it go that long this time. We'll see. Weili just pounding away. Now she's going to try to lock in a submission again. And I think you just keep this up. Yep, keep pounding away. Keep pounding away. Yep. And then every once in a while, try to get it back in there for the finish. And eventually, Yan will get those hands down. But she's got to work the body now. She's working the head, and that's cool too. But if she works the body, she gets the rear finish. There it is. She's going back for it again. And now she lost a little bit of position as Jan's able to roll to her side. But look at this. Zhang Weili, round 2 ground strikes, 51-0. Clinic. 64-14. Dominant form here for the champ. Here we go with the triangle now. A minute to go. Very similar to last round. And Zhang Weili has got it locked here now. Can Yan survive? 52 seconds left. This is a long time. My goodness. Oh. Yan gets out of it again. Unbelievable. And now Yan gets on top. Look at this, dude. Unbelievable. You're seeing some great skill, some great matchups tonight. This is why people believe this is the greatest card of all time. I mean, it shouldn't even be believed. I mean, it is. You got 12 former champions on this card, you know. And some of these fights could just be finishes early, round 1, round 2. But the fighter that's losing still comes back. Just some great matchups. Oh, and a big right by Jan. 5 seconds left in a round. She's going to lose the round, but showing some heart with a right-left finish to finish the round. So now 2 rounds are gone. Wei Li up 66-17 in significant strikes, 457 of control on 2 takedowns. So just looking dominant right now. But Jan could have very easily gone out in that second round and just got finished in the first minute. But it didn't happen. Now she made it through 2 big submission attempts that looked like it could finish the fight. Really the one in round 1 should have. Just ran out of time at the exact right moment. Yeah, so that does beg the question is now, with 5 minutes of control time, Wei Li, you know, when you're got those submissions in and you feel like you're going to get it, you're willing to exert more energy in that moment. And that moment lasted for a total of probably 90 seconds in 2 different rounds. So will Zhang Wei Li start to slow down by exerting all that energy and not getting the finish? We'll see. Round 3 is underway. And you got to believe Wei Li is going to go back in for the takedown in short order. Oh, nice leg kick by Jan. Knocks down Wei Li. She smiles and gets back up. Both fighters center the octagon. No takedown attempts yet. And Jan has more of a chance on the feet. It's clear. She could just stay off the ground. And here goes Zhang. Wei Li driving her back into the fence, lands a left elbow. And that landed pretty good. Oh, a big right by Jan. Wei Li goes down. She's on her back. Jan's on her feet. Landed some leg kicks. And this fight was inevitable. I mean, China versus China. You got the champ versus a #1 contender. I mean, this fight was inevitable at this point. Now, Jan doesn't want to let her up. She's just continually kicking at the thigh. Wei Li is, on her back trying to up kick. And now the ref finally stops it and is going to let her up. I think Jan could have done that from the feet all day. She was liking that. 2:55 left. And Jan has landed more in round 3, especially the big shots. But she's constantly trying to get the KO. She's constantly trying to throw the big right hand. And that's going to wear on her a little bit. And it's like if you go for that and you don't get it, you're going to lose by decision. So that's kind of how the fight's playing out right now. Now, Zhang Wei Li is limited that throughout the fight with the takedown game and control time. Oh! Jan connects again. Wei Li went to a knee and came right back up. Now she's in for the takedown attempt. And we'll see if she can land it this time. Jan doing everything she can to remain on her feet. Oh, and Jan lands a takedown. We got a little battle here. Now she's got the triangle. Goodness gracious. Now Wei from her back. Jan on top. And the momentum is not shifting, but it's definitely even in round 3. Oh. Wei kicks her off. And guess what? That 5-1 favorite is way down. Heading closer to even now. Oh, and Jan takes a leg out from Wei. She's on her back once again, so credit another takedown here. So that's 3 takedowns. Not really expected when she lands one every 3. So she's well over the average and starting to look better here in round 3. That's what I see. And it's still amazing after that round 1, like getting out of the round. Like 2 more seconds, she loses the fight. And she gets out of the round. And then comes back in round 2 and gets beat more. But now in round 3, she's starting to kind of regather and putting herself in position to have a chance. And what she has done is stuff the takedowns from Wei here in round 3. So that's what plagued her in the first 2 rounds, is giving up those big takedowns and let Zhang Wei put in some potential submissions. And now you're seeing Wei potentially slow down a little bit. Round 4 is going to be crucial. And Jan Gionin picking up the pace. It's not too late. Because the numbers don't matter, right? Like Wei-Li's up 76-34 in significant strikes. That's all good. If this was a 3-round fight, it'd probably be 29-28, 2-1 right now for Wei-Li. So Jan still has time. She got to win the next 2 rounds. Numbers don't really matter. It comes down to rounds at some point in every fight. And especially in a 5-round fight, you got time to make up if you got down early. And her corner looks much more excited with Uriah Faber in there than they did at the end of round 2. A little bit more optimism in the corner. And they know, listen, you're fighting the best fighter in the world. 2-time champion. You're going to have to go in there and take the belt. That's what it comes down to. First 10 seconds gone, round 4. No feeling out process here. We're in the thick of it. As Jan lands a left and a right. Wei-Li returns a front kick. Yeah, and Wei-Li had to exert a lot of energy in the first 2 rounds. And now that's going to limit her opportunities to land takedowns potentially. Jan's in a position to win here if she understands exactly what she needs to do. When she lands a big right and flattens Wei-Li. Wei-Li goes to her back, gets back up. And Jan being smart, after she lands that was her second knockdown, she doesn't rush in, right? She kind of waits for a second. And Wei-Li gets right up, so it might be a mistake to rush right in. And Jan just being very patient. Ooh. Wei-Li goes in for the takedown. Now Jan's got the back. Now Wei-Li spins and she's on top. And this is not what you needed if you're Jan. You did not want this to go to the ground where the momentum could swing back in favor of Wei-Li. Jan doing everything she can to get out of it, but Wei-Li will take her down. And now she's looking to take the back. She's got it. And 3:20 to go here. And now this is what happened in rounds 1 and 2. Yan still fighting the hands really well. Weili's got the left leg wrapped around the left leg of Yan and just maintaining position. Sort of got her from the side, could potentially take the back at any time. And Yan just cannot lose position here. She's got to really be careful. Now Weili pounding away with the left. And Yan grabs it and stops it for the time being. Whew. It's been a wild night. Come on, Weili, let's go. Quit playing games. There you go. Keep throwing to left. Keep working. If Zhang Weili wins this fight, she could be the champion for a while. I don't know who else is going to come up and take it, especially with Rose moving up and having some success. Would Rose come back? It's hard to say. Oh, clear fence grab right there. That's the second time she grabbed the fence, and that was a clear fence grab to pull herself kind of up. I mean, that's clear. 130 left, round 4. And this is huge for Zhang Weili, because this might give her a third round if she continues this the rest of the round. And now she's defending the rear much better, keeping the hands up. Gosh, this is what Zhang Weili needed, man. Grinding out a victory here in round 4. Out of just sheer control. And just as the momentum started to turn towards Yan Xiaonan, Weili just shut the door on that momentum. 40 seconds left. Continues to control here. She's now over 9 minutes of control time on 4 takedowns. $75-5 ground strikes. Unreal. And I tell you though, she is fighting off all the submissions. Zhang Weili cannot get the finish, but she's still winning rounds. Round 4 is a wrap. She's likely up 3-1. And will we get lucky in another round 5 and see a finish? I mean, I don't know if it ever gets better than what we saw Max Holloway do. That's going to go down in infamy, as they say. But now we head into another round 5. And I had a feeling this is going to be a late, long night. Especially when you got 3 5-round fights to finish a night. As soon as Bo Nickal didn't get to finish in the first, I'm like, man, we're going to be here for a while. But you know, we wouldn't have it any other way. And this is a lot like the Max Holloway fight for Zhang Weili, where she's up 3 rounds to 1 at least. Should be pretty simple, pretty clear, 3-1. Round 1 was pretty close. I mean, there's no way it's 2-2. And now Jason Herzog warning her about grabbing the fence ahead of round 5. She's done it twice, and Herzog did not take a point, thankfully. As he knows taking a point could decide the fight, but at the same time, you can't be pulling the fence. I mean, fighters put their fingers in there for a second, they get a warning, whatever. I mean, she literally put her fingers in the fence and pulled herself up. Ooh, Zhang Weili shoots in for another takedown. Now she's on top. Here we go, looking for side control. Almost a full mount here if she can pull that right leg through. 5 takedowns now. 63% takedown average right now in this fight. 5 of 8. First 45 seconds gone. Oh, looking for the full mount. She couldn't get it. And Yan fights her way out of it. Okay. Back to the feet, where anything could happen. 1 minute gone, round 5. But there's no way Pereira Hill's going 5 rounds, right? There's no way. And another takedown by Wei Li. 3:15 left in round 5. This is exactly where she wants to be. Just dominating this fight. Really in all facets now. As we get deeper into round 5. 114 to 41 in significant strikes. Control time 10-14 to 220. 6 takedowns to 3. And she's just grinding out a victory now. Looking to retain the belt. Either way, Yan Zhang fought well. Just got a little more work to do to get over the finish line. Got to get better at defending these takedowns. Keep the fight standing. Land your big shots. And at times she did. She landed some big shots and stay patient. And the other way to look at it is like when you land the big shot, go in for the finish. You know, that's another thing she could potentially do better too. Calculated finish, but she never really had Zhang Wei Li in trouble. But she did land some shots that took Wei Li down. I think she had 2 or 3 knockdowns in this fight. So the ability's there. But now you got to be able to finish. Wei Li is taking the back, just continues to control the heck out of Yan Zhang. This time Zhang is at least protecting her from getting the legs wrapped around, but it's just Zhang Wei Li is controlling this fight. Now from the back, as they roll, Yan Zhang looking to roll out of this thing. 1:15 left in the fight before Zhang Wei Li gets an easy unanimous decision victory. And Wei Li now inside control, 30 seconds left. And looking at these numbers, just a dominant performance for the champ. And she's going to easily retain the belt. This is one of those few fights where we don't have to stick around for the decision. I mean, it's pretty obvious. We can start the countdown to Pereira versus Hill in about 15 seconds. And here we go. Down to the final 3. And that's it. Zhang Wei Li, absolutely dominant performance here at UFC 300. She's going to retain the belt. 119 to 41. Significant strikes. 101 to 25 in head strikes. 12 minutes of control. 6 takedowns. That's an easy one. Zhang Wei Li retains the belt. Women's strawweight division. UFC 300. So, man. Unbelievable. You know, you're not going to get a lot of these big finishes you're hoping to see because you're getting some, but even in some of these fights to get big finishes like Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje. You got some really good fighters on the other end. Now sit back, man. We're going to be right back. We got some things to look at. We're going to get into during the break here. Khamzat Chimaev, Islam Makhachev, all that stuff going down, the end of Ramadan. Then we're going to get into the prelim reactions, followed by the prediction for Pereira versus Hill. But stay tuned. We'll be right back here in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast.
Ramadan is officially over. Ramadan is officially over. And how does this affect the UFC? It affects the UFC big time because the UFC has a lot of Muslim fighters, Islam Makhachev, Khamzat Chimaev, to name a few. And they can eat during the day now. They can eat at night. They can eat whenever they want. And training is going to start to heat up for both of these guys ahead of highly anticipated fights. Islam hasn't had any fight made official yet. That's what Dustin Poirier is talking. Khamzat is going to be fighting Robert Whittaker in about 2 months. So that's plenty of time for him to put on the weight and then shed the body fat and be ripped and in great shape for that fight. So I'm glad it doesn't affect me, right? Ramadan, I'm not fasting, although it's very good for your body to do so. Let's be real. Even if you're not Muslim, it's very good for your body to fast. So for these Muslim fighters, which is why I'm intrigued by it, have cleansed their body. They're ready to rebuild it. And they're going to be ready to go in the best possible scenario, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months after Ramadan. So I look for a very healthy Khamzat to come in and absolutely dominate Robert Whittaker. That's one of those fights where I will not break, ever. I think Khamzat beats everybody. It's as simple as that. And especially now that Ramadan is over, we're going to start seeing some training footage. We're going to see, if you could say, a return to normalcy, in a sense that, listen, if you don't fast like me, you're thinking of it like, man, I can't eat all day when the sun's up. That is some dedication, man. That's not easy to do. But they do it every year. And they come out healthier on the back end. And this is why these guys are smart. Some of the Muslim fighters will fight during Ramadan, but they're smart not to. Let your body heal, cleanse, get everything out, and rebuild it, man. And that's what Khamzat and Islam are doing right now. And I expect them to come out and both get victories, obviously, if you're Islam, in their next fight. Please believe it. Now, let's shift gears to ranking the 13 fights at UFC 300. This is via MMA Junkie, which I thought about doing this on the podcast the last time, but I was like, this is going to be ridiculously hard. So I'm glad they did it for us. We already discussed the bottom three, right? Jessica Andrade, Marina Rodriguez, great fight, but number 13 on this fight card. Hard to believe. Bo Nickal, Cody Brundage is 12 because people expect Bo Nickal to go in and get the KO pretty quickly. That's why it's the first fight in the pay-per-view. It's trying to get the crowd hyped up, man, for the rest of the way. Jim Miller, Bobby Green coming in at number 11. Yep. And let's start to go down. Let me jump into the top 5 so you'll know which fights are eliminated. And as we get there, wow, number 5, Yuri versus Rakic. And I see that and I'm like, wow, what other 4 fights are better than that one? Because that's going to be a highly intriguing fight. This was a potential light heavyweight matchup just a year ago before both guys got injured. Jamahal Hill came onto the scene, right? Then Alex Pereira came onto the scene and got the belt at a time when virtually everybody's injured. And he fought a Yuri Prochazka that wasn't 100% in terms of, in terms of the mental game, because he's coming off the injury. So Rakic is in that situation, but that's going to be a great fight. This one is interesting. Number 4, Davison Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. Number 4 out of 13. And I don't know if I'd have it that high, but we did say the other day this is a great first fight. And I don't know if this fight's going to get the accolades that it should, because it's going to be overshadowed by the rest of the card once this fight's over. But that is a great first fight. And to stick that at number 4 is interesting. The main event is number 3, Pereira versus Hill. That's number 3. So who's number 2 and 1? Oliveira versus Tsarukyan, number 2. I dig it. Yeah. And you know I love Du Bronx. I want to see him go off on Arman Tsarukyan. But I do think that's going to be a great fight, and the lightweight division's always got to be up there when you're looking at ranking a card like this. And number one, I don't know about this. Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. And this is number one because people believe that Max Holloway cannot be KO'd. And it's going to be an absolute battle that Justin Gaethje will win. And Max Holloway might get pummeled in some cases during this fight, but he's not going to give up. And that's going to lead it to be potentially the fight of the night. And that's how you kind of rank this thing, right? If you had to look at one and say, what's going to be the fight of the night? What's going to go to a 3-round, or is this a 5-round fight? I can't remember. But nonetheless, if this goes to a decision and you're well over 100, 150 significant strikes, it could very well be the fight of the night. So I like the ranking here. I might change number 4, even though I like Figueiredo versus Garbrandt. That's a tough one to stick up at number 4 with all the fights on deck. But that's how MMA Junkie is ranking these fights. And it's highly interesting. It's a great topic for an article because when you're looking at 13 great fights, how do you really rank them? But they did it. And it totally makes sense. I have a couple differences, but I'm not far off from their rankings. Now, Dricus du Plessis refused to let Israel Adesanya dictate UFC 300 booking, right? Saying you are summoned when I say you are summoned. They needed to fill the void as the main event, and they wanted du Plessis to come back in like 6 to 8 weeks. And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I need to be 100%. And that's where you start to see him respect Adesanya a little bit, saying, you know, in so many words, paraphrasing, that he's obviously a great fighter, was a great champion, and this is not a guy you can play around with. So regardless of all the talk you hear from these two, there's a lot of respect here. And Adesanya would probably benefit from a quick turnaround, and du Plessis is not going to let that happen. And this matchup is inevitable since du Plessis beat Robert Whittaker, and they came face-to-face at UFC 290. You remember that tirade that Adesanya let loose with the N-word how many times? I don't know. I lost count. But he went in there and went off, and it made for an interesting situation. And Adesanya knows how to hype up a fight, right? It's like you got to give Adesanya this fight. But I agree with Dricus du Plessis. He shouldn't be pushed around, man. He should not be pushed around. And he's not going to be. And that fight is going to be interesting. Because you can never count out Israel Adesanya. You just cannot count him out, especially when he's not the champ. Right? He's getting older. He's slowing down a little bit. These other guys are coming up. The youth is on the rise. And when he's the champ, they're coming. But now he's the one coming. And it makes him that much more tough to deal with when he's not the champ because he's hungry. And that's not a good thing for Dricus du Plessis. And we'll get to that prediction later, but that's going to be one that I'm probably going to drag on for 6 minutes rather than 2 or 3 because it's going to be hard to actually make a decision there. But we'll get to that when the time comes. Dana White reveals the origins of the BMF, declares Max Holloway probably the greatest featherweight of all time. So let's be real with the BMF. And if you didn't see the short we put out earlier, we detailed this in like 50 seconds, but the bottom line is the BMF belt was created really to hype up Masvidal versus Nate Diaz, who are two guys that are no longer really at that point in time. Maybe Masvidal was in title contention, but they needed a fight to fill the void on that particular card, and they needed to come up with a belt, and that's where the BMF belt really originated. Maybe it was thought of before this fight. Maybe you save it for the perfect scenario that you need to hype up a fight, and that's what they did, and now this thing is going and going and going. Islam Makhachev has already shut it down, says, what kind of belt is this? This is not championship belt. It means nothing. And if Gaethje wins the belt and he gets it strapped around his waist, that doesn't do anything. This fight does nothing for Justin Gaethje. He really should have just sat and waited for the title fight, because now it seems like Dustin Poirier, a.k.a. the Diamond, is going to sneak past him after a big win over Benoit Saint Denis. If Gaethje was available, they would still be able to say, well, Gaethje beat Poirier, but now Gaethje's not available, so that discussion is out, and Islam wants to fight 3 times a year. So it seems to me like DP is up next, but they're going to wait till UFC 300's over because, you know, the Oliveira Tsarukyan fight. And Lopez landed some shots now. He's starting to pick up the pace. And it's clear the feeling out period is over. Oh, big uppercut by Lopez. Oh my goodness, Yusuf's in trouble here. And we're only 1 minute in and Yusuf's in trouble already. And look at these moves by Lopez on the ground. And now he's going to try to get side control, maybe a full mount. And he won't be able to get it. Now they're going to stand back to their feet. All right, so everything slows down for a second. Goodness. And all these... Oh, Yusuf goes down again. And now Lopez is in a full mount. Mark Smith is taking a close look here. Yusuf gives up the back, and that's it. Mark Smith calls it pretty early, but rightfully so. And Diego Lopez is pumped up, and he's going to jump over the octagon and say what's up to Dana White. Mark Zuckerberg right there in the front row. Okay. Okay. Unbelievable finish. Unbelievable finish for Diego Lopez. Unbelievable. He's going to move to 24-6. And the crowd's giving their praises, of course. An unbelievable finish here. 26-2 in significant strikes in under 90 seconds. 26 significant strikes under 90 seconds. He gets the win, featherweight division, UFC 300. And Harrison just building up control time now against the fence. Looking for the takedown. She takes the leg out. Goodness gracious. Kayla Harrison just dominated. Making my prediction look worthless right now. And Holly Holm is in all sorts of trouble. She's on the ground. Oh. Now she's giving up the back. You can't give up the back. You cannot give up the back. Oh. Come on. Harrison pounding away. She's got the legs wrapped around, stretched out. Oh, this is not looking good as she taps quick. Holly Holm is finished. And I'm a believer now. I am a believer now. She's going to be 17-1 and got a win over Holly Holm, and she is much bigger than I thought. I mean, she is much bigger. When you look at her shoulders and her physique, standing next to Holly Holm, it's like, how are they the same weight? So Kayla Harrison is going to be a problem. 50-0 in significant strikes. Unbelievable. 50-0. Think about, I don't care what age Holly Holm is. That's a dominant performance by Kayla Harrison. And I'm a believer. I'm a believer. Women's bantamweight division. UFC 300. Calvin Kattar, Aljamain Sterling come to an end, and that'll do it. Aljamain Sterling, just absolute domination here in the move up to featherweight. And I think Calvin Kattar was shocked by the power of Aljamain Sterling and the quickness, right? You're moving up from bantamweight. You're used to quick guys, so you're expecting Aljamain Sterling to be quick. But instead, he's not only quick, but he's also powerful. Check this out. Calvin Kattar just completely shut down. 4 significant strikes the whole fight. 10:43 of control by Aljamain Sterling. 29-4 in significant strikes. 90-13 in total strikes. Just absolute domination. And he's a real contender already in the featherweight division, as he should be. He's going to move to 24-4 here. Featherweight division. UFC 300. And Yuri throws him down. Let's go. Yuri, finish it now. Oh, he's got the right arm tied behind the back. Oh, here we go. Rocket just pounding away with the right. And boy, Herb Dean is right there, man. Herb Dean is close. Come on, Yuri. Come on, Yuri. Yes. Let's go. Yes. Yes. Stop it, Herb. Yes. Let's go. Let's go, Yuri. Woo. Unbelievable, because Rakic was dominating early in this fight. And Yuri was just like walking around like he will not be denied. And he's going to move to 30-4. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. See the replay. Boom, he lands the big right. And from that point, I mean, Rakic was still fighting back, but it was just Yuri just poured it on after that. And Rakic looked really good, but Yuri looked determined. And when Yuri is determined, I don't know if anybody in the world can beat him. I'm just being real with you. And now it's the second fight since the injury, okay? So now he's back to the Yuri of old. And that's all we got to say about that one. UFC light heavyweight division. UFC 300. Big light heavyweight fight because it's for the title. I mean, this is for the title. Pereira versus Hill. Let's get into it right now. In the light heavyweight division at UFC 300. This is your main event for the light heavyweight title. You got Alex Pereira taking on Jamahal Hill. Now Pereira 9-2. Jamahal Hill comes in at 12-1. Both guys stand 6'4". Pereira 36 years old. Jamahal Hill 32. Right in his prime. Both guys 79-inch reach. Now Jamahal Hill stands left-handed. Pereira stands right-handed. So that's going to be a factor in this fight for sure. Jamahal Hill's very active, 7.3 significant strikes per minute. That's a staple of his career. Takedown game, non-existent. Pereira, 5 significant strikes per minute. Takedown game, non-existent. So this is going to be a title fight main event that people are going to be talking about for a long time because it's a striker's delight. Now, Pereira captured the belt. Well, first he beat Jan Blachowicz, right? Then he came back against Yuri and captured the belt by second round KO. And that ought to tell you that this is not going to be easy for Jamahal Hill if he's going to get the belt back. Now, sweet dreams, Jamahal Hill. Before the injury, we'll get into that in a moment, beat Glover Teixeira by decision. Thiago Santos, KO, and he KO'd Johnny Walker. So he was on a major run, captured the belt, and looked great doing it. The problem is he's coming off an Achilles injury in July. Right? This fight is about 8, 9, 10 months since the injury, roughly. So he should be back to full strength, but that's no guarantee. And I think that's going to be a factor in this fight. Is he coming back too quick? The UFC needed a main event. I'm sure they're calling on Jamahal Hill. And is he rushing it to make it happen for the UFC? Don't know the answer to that question, but it's definitely a factor. I want to see Jamahal Hill win. I like Jamahal Hill. But I think a solid year after Achilles injury in MMA combat sports, when you got to be able to kick, defend kicks, you got to be able to move and slide. If you're at all slow or questioning that injury, a lot like Yuri Prochazka was, it's not going to work for you. You're not going to be at your best, especially mentally, not so much physically. And therefore, I'm leaning towards and going with Alex Pereira to win this fight simply because of that. And that'll be the talking point going forward. So I think Pereira wins this fight. I don't know if it'll be a KO. Jamahal Hill is really tough. But if Pereira catches you, it could be a KO. If Jamahal Hill catches you, it could be a KO. So it's going to be one of those fights. And it's going to be highly interesting. But I'm going with Alex Pereira on the simple fact that I don't think Jamahal Hill is 100%. And he's coming off the injury in a world-class title fight. Pereira wins by either KO or decision to move to 10-2 and keep the belt here. Light heavyweight division. UFC 300. Man, I can't believe I got to go against Sweet Dreams, Jamahal Hill. I like this guy, but this fight can really go either way. In the lead up and the announcement to this, remember, it took all that time for the UFC to make an announcement on 300, especially the main event. And it was make or break, which I think was crazy because, I mean, I get it. The main event tells you everything, but the whole fight card is ridiculous. And when this fight was announced, people weren't necessarily happy with it, but I loved it because when you look at the takedown, it's almost non-existent, and it's two guys that land right around 6 or more significant strikes per minute, and it's just going to be a straight striking affair, and someone is likely to go down. Someone's likely to go down. Well, we're going to get 5 rounds of action. It's definitely going to be the fight of the night.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
Welcome back. This is your boy Chris Cross. This is a TCMMA podcast. We are in the thick of it. Main event coming up right now. Both guys get introduced. I mean, we're moments away from the light heavyweight title. either staying with Alex Pereira or changing hands. Long night of fighting, but it's been worth it. It's been highly worth it. It's hard to believe this thing's about to come to an end. It really is. And none other than Herb Dean will do this final fight as he should. Wouldn't have it any other way. Gotta have Herb Dean in the main event at UFC 300. And Alex Pereira is such a serious individual. Jamahal Hill coming off the injury, how will he look here? We're going to know right away. I mean, Alex Pereira is a very tough fighter to go up against. And we got them 4 versus 8 on the do list. You know, we had Jamahal Hill working his way up when he won the belt. And it's hard to believe you get this epic matchup, right? And Jamahal Hill's just 12-1. Pereira's just 9-2. 13 fights versus 11 fights. Usually when you get to this point, you see 20, 30 fights on the board. Both of these guys are still relatively new. Pereira getting a little older, though. He's 36. Jamahal Hill, 32. Excuse me. Hold on, Chris Cross. You can do it. One more fight, baby. A little pep talk. Oh, this is serious, boy. And I don't like this because I'm rooting for Jamahal Hill, but I got Pereira predicted to win. We're struggling on the year of main events. We desperately need this. We said we're going to go 8-5. More than likely, 8-5 was the prediction on the predictions. We're 7-5 right now. Need Pereira to win. Got the champ versus number 1 contender. And I think Jamahal can win, but the last 3 big-time fighters we've seen come off injuries, they lost the next fight. Chris Weidman, Yuri Prochazka, Alexander Rakic. Jamahal Hill's got to change it to win this fight. Alex Pereira's at his height. He's probably got another good 2 years, too, before he starts going downhill. Both guys 6'4", massive, 205 pounds. All right, so here we go. Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill. Main event. Light heavyweight title on the line. UFC 300. And this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. And not really waiting. There's been so many good fights tonight, but waiting in terms of the main event. And this epic situation that we've watched tonight with the crowd nearly sold out from beginning to end. Definitely at the end, but early on the night, the place was packed. And this thing is about to come to an end. Probably at a screeching halt. And look at Jamahal Hill just trying to intimidate him, but you can't. Alex Pereira is serious with the stare down. Woo! These are 2 bad boys, I'm telling you. These are 2 bad boys. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Anyone who said this wasn't a good main event is crazy. This is straight striking. Neither guy really wants to go to the ground. This fight is underway. And hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen. Hold your breath. First strike landed by Jamahal Hill is a leg kick. You got lefty versus righty. Jamahal Hill standing southpaw. Alex Pereira standing right-handed. And, you know, you always got the awkward style from Alex Pereira that throws off his opponents. And we'll see if Jamahal Hill can find his way and navigate through these waters. And Jamahal Hill still, I want to say, doesn't look like his old self physically. He's not far off, but it seems a little early here. Certainly still capable of winning. Could be a problem if it goes 4 or 5 rounds. Don't think that'll happen, though. Jamahal Hill catches a left leg, and lands a right. Nice. Both these guys capable of getting a finish at any given time. Makes it highly interesting. And to me, Jamahal Hill looks like he's got a little bit more weight around the stomach area. You know, that wouldn't, it's not perfect, but definitely a little bit, you know, another couple months away from being physically 100%. But if he can win the belt here, that buys him time, right, to keep working. But this is a tall order in Alex Pereira. When you know Alex Pereira is at his height physically. First 2 minutes gone. Kind of a slow pace here for two high activity guys. 11-9 significant strikes. Pereira very close. Just 1-0 in head strike, so that's because we got a lot of leg kicks. 7-6. Both guys trying to establish their distance. And eventually, both guys are going to open up, but Jamahal Hill is going to open up probably quicker. Just got to be careful of getting caught. A lot of leg kicks here. A lot of leg kicks. Here we go. Come on, Jamahal. You got to pick it up if you want to win this thing. And I'm predicting Pereira to win. I'm totally stuck in the middle on this one. Oh. A low leg kick, and Pereira shoves him back and says, no, get out of here. Oh, big left! Jamahal Hill's in trouble. This is what I worried about for Jamahal. And Pereira pounds away with the hammer fist, and it's over. And look at this. Herb Dean's got to push him back. Jamahal Hill gets finished. And that's it. Jamahal Hill says, why'd you stop it? But, no, I mean, I don't think he realizes what just happened. Pereira just rocked Jamahal Hill, just kind of pounded away 5, 6, 8 times maybe. And Pereira's pumped up. And he's at his height right now. And now, like Pereira said, he's ready to go with 301. And if he gets a first-round finish, you never know. Could he fight Ankalaev at UFC 301? He could easily return in a month, whether they want him to do that or not. And he's getting a black belt. Wow. Unbelievable. And Alex Pereira with a dominant performance. Jamahal Hill, had to take this fight, but probably came back too early, let's be real. And that's exactly what I figured would happen. You're going to see Jamahal Hill at a different level in the next fight, just like you saw Yuri tonight. And Jamahal Hill's not happy with this, but Pereira shoved off Herb Dean. And this is when Herb Dean comes in and says time, and Pereira says nope, put his arm out and shoved him back, and Herb said okay, and right away, boom, lands a left within 2 seconds. And that's when Jamahal Hill's in serious trouble. Look at this. Beam. And it only takes one. Yeah, dude. Yeah, he had him right on that left. Jamahal Hill went down hard. And then he came in at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. And it was basically over. 7 hammers to finish it. Alex Pereira is the definitive champ. Unbelievable. He's 10-2. He'll retain the belt here. Light heavyweight division. That was quick at UFC 300. So, man, that's how it goes down. What a night of action. What a night of action. UFC 300 will live in infamy. We've been live now for 3.5 hours. Hard to believe. Hard to believe. Appreciate y'all watching. Got to rest up, man. We got the week off next week. As always, it's your boy Chris Cross. Hope you have a great day. And God bless. Peace.